the concluding session as well after your talk and lecture will finish, sir. So may I request to Dr. Latif, Course Director, to kindly introduce our respected speaker to all participants and formally invite our speaker. Dr. Latif, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shiraz. So, good evening to all the participants and everything, sir. So, Dr. Mahesh Gatala, born in a farming family in Rajasthan, obtained his BSc and MSc from Rajasthan Agricultural University and his PhD in Soil Science from Maharana Pratap University of Agricultural Science and Technology, Udaipur. Currently, he has been working since 2011 with SMIT, Mexico, on Sustainable Intensification Program as a senior system agronomist, presently based in Bangladesh. Dr. Gatala made strong contribution to strategic research, development, and deployment of conservation agriculture, based sustainable intensification, crop production and farming system, small-scale mechanization, innovation for youth and women, micro entrepreneurship, and capacity building to several thousand farmers and partners. He is currently responsible for developing sustainable intensification through conservation agriculture-based management solutions to address issues of resource degradation, soil health, abiotic stresses, and climate change in South Asia. Before joining SMIT, Dr. Mahesh worked with IRI as a senior scientist and initiated conservation agriculture-based research platforms in the Northwest IG, working in close collaboration with RWC SMIT and NARES partners in India. Dr. Gatala has extensive experience working in South and West Asia and has strong partnership network with NARES private sector, NGOs, CG organizations, manufacturers, donors, and key government research development and policy leaders in their respective ministries. Dr. Mahesh has worked on and coordinated more than 10 mega projects in South and West Asia. Dr. Gatala works to reduce poverty in EGP by improving the productivity, profitability, and sustainability of smallholder agriculture. His research findings are published in over 150 referred international and national journal articles, book chapters, bulletins, reviews, and symposia proceedings. We are blessed to have with us Dr. Gatala, who is with us, I think, twice from last 3 weeks. So thank you very much, sir. You please start your presentation.
Please allow me again to share my screen. It's again disabled, so I ask to.
Well,
Yes, sir. Say yes, sir. Sir, you can share.
Thank you very much. It's okay. It's visible to everybody.
Yes.
And audible.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So again, I'd like to thank, and it's my great pleasure to be here again to an international training course, especially that it's organized by NAHEP, that's National Agriculture, what we call that, education program.
Yeah, education project, the National Agriculture
Higher Education Program, and this is my second time. This is international course, so I'm very pleased and I'm highly thankful to convener and course director Dr. Professor, Dr. Latif, as well as course co-director Syed Siraz, and then we have convener our director extensions, and then Dr. Mustaq, Professor Mustaq, and definitely it's under the umbrella of guidance of Dr. Najir Ahmed as a Vice Chancellor. So thank you very much again to providing me this opportunity, and that's my great pleasure. So today's I think we'll go through if there is any questions. I think there's a questions and answer session and chat box. That's pleased to be ask questions and put your questions and any comments on there. I would be happy to cover that, and if any question in between we can discuss also. This is 1 hour, but it's I think is a little bit flexible as well, so that's fine because today is last day and I don't want to take too much time as well, because it's maybe they have other programs and final closing ceremony and all. So thank you very much. Today's my talk is recent trends of conservation agriculture and its role in managing climate risk, especially focused on India and then South Asia. I'm working with CIMMYT, as Dr. Latif gave very nice introduction, which I don't deserve, but thank you very much for giving that introduction. I'm based in Bangladesh, and my major experience in conservation agriculture and sustainable intensification in South Asia for small holders and including mechanizations. So that's as I worked. So CIMMYT is well known for do science, for the wheat and maize science for improved livelihoods. We are part of CGIAR. We worked in most of continents, that's Asia, Africa, Latin America, and South America. And CIMMYT's major focus directly interact with farmers at farmers field through participatory research and through partnerships and through cooperations with national and international systems and extension and development agencies. You know that in CIMMYT there are contributed in CIMMYT missions, especially Dr. Sanjay Rajaram, Dr. Pandey, Dr. Vassal, and there are many. So that's now you can see that Dr. Ravi Singh and so on. So there are many scientists that is contributing and have a significant contribution in CIMMYT mission into achieving the sufficient food security in the world as well as in our continent. This is my presentation background, which I will maybe not talk too much, but we will go through and then we'll come back. This is the challenges that we are talking today, and then that's why we are talking about climate change and how to mitigate and all. And if you look at that, we can call this as a perfect storm, and this storm cannot be, mitigated or addressed by business as usual. So we have to think differently to address those issues, and those challenges are like, high unemployment, unrest, and migration, which is coming, leads to like lot of conflicts between societies, between countries, between states, and then within societies and all. And these systems are highly fragile, because now patience levels is decreased, and then you can see anytime that can be blast in communities and society due to this high unemployment and high populations, migration from rural to cities and all. Malnutrition, that's coming through like food, and nutrition insecurity, that we can see clearly nowadays. That earlier we are talking about food security. Food security is okay. Now we should talk about more, food nutrition and balanced diets and all. Demographic changes, gender equality, and that's coming through, due to high populations and urbanization, and that create heat. It is, kind of like hot spots for like burning, in world as well as in within countries and all. The major challenge for our country is land degradation and desertification, and we can see that due to conventional system and desertification is happening, and soil's health is deteriorating, and every time with time due to conventional and unbalanced use of our practices, especially input use, and then quality management of residues, and then there are many other kind of not suitable cropping systems that's exploit too much water and all. So that's kind of, and that's monocropping system. I'll go back in our history, we had a very diversified cropping systems, but now we have more cropping systems like rice, wheat, some of that, like sometimes rice, wheat, rice, maize, but it's continuous same, monocropping system, which leads to land degradations and loss biodiversity. Water scarcity, as we know, that is a major challenge nowadays, and we are exploiting groundwater, overuse of groundwater, that leads to be depletion of groundwater tables, and maybe, I don't know, after how long will sustain, maybe after 20 years or 50 years. Some of the states, like I belong to Rajasthan, I can see we don't have water now at all. They are more depending, because our agricultural lands are so productive and we have a sufficient water, but there's no water at all now. So we converted as a rain-fed dry land. So it's fortunate that we get good rain, we can grow crop, otherwise no options. and maybe we'll future face a problem for even drinking water. So we have a double chance, like despite of these challenges, we have changing climate, that's erratic, rainfall, kind of uneven distributions, and increasing temperatures, and so on. So that's challenges are, not easy, as we have to be challenged, meet or face of these challenges and to do best how we can meet them and how we can challenge. You see that this soil physical, chemical, and biological properties. And if you look at that, soil health depend on these three: physical, chemical, and biological properties. And these three biological properties governs by our soil management, cropping systems, fertilizer management, import, and farming systems, and so on. So it's up to us how we like to see these properties as a soil health, how we like to improve that. So that's like physical properties, more important for physical support of plant, retention of water, it's also depend on soil erosion. So if good soil physical condition, then less erosion you will see, soil hardness, and so biological like weed, pest suppression, microbial, and mineralization, organic matter, so on. And chemical, we know the soil reactions and storage and nutrient retention and all these depends how we are managing our soils and how we want to sustain that and where we are looking. This is about more challenges where I talk about Eastern Gangetic Plain zones. Right now I'm working in these. So in these regions are more challenges as compared to other part of the country, South Asia. These ecologies are more vulnerable to floods, storms, heavy rainfalls, unseasonal rainfalls, more biological pressures, weeds, and so on. So there are more challenges in that, and land fragmentations and high population pressure, very high population pressure. You can see that in 1 square kilometer, always more than 1,000 people are living. So that's the population challenge in Eastern Gangetic Plain zones. That's add further, that's. So nowadays, today we'll talk about beyond conservation agriculture. So conservation agriculture was more strict on zero tillage only, and that's called as a conservation agriculture. But if we talk about conservation agriculture based sustainable intensification, then we have to talk as a whole system, not only like tillage, but also whole system. So if we talk about conservation agriculture based sustainable intensification, definitely it will be based on conservation agriculture based management. That's content 3 principles, and that's we need to be follow. And then we have to be combined with efficient use of external and natural resources. That's fertilizer, pesticide, weed management inputs, and then water use, and then energy use, and so on. So our conservation agriculture based option must be economical, profitable to the farmers. If these options are only add value in sustainability or only in environmental or soil health, farmers not adopt it. These options must be economical to the farmers. And then these options must be, like as a whole system that's taking care of cropping system, livestock, and farming system integrations. And that should be kind of also eco, farming, sustainable eco farming that we can call. And if we adopt this, definitely we will expect the outcomes of that system perspective resilience. We will get higher system, we will get more water for future, water and energy. Definitely we are talking nowadays this residue burnings and all. Nowadays Delhi is hot, spot for talking about air pollution. So if we do conservation agriculture, we can mitigate this problem by retaining residue and recycle residue, and then we can get clean environment. And definitely we can also improve our conserve soil biodiversity, that's soil fauna and then plants. And if we do that, nowadays we are talking about sustainable development goals. And if we do this practice, at least we can address 10 SDGs goals through water, energy, food, labor, economics, nutrition, so on so. And that can be met and achieved through that. That would be one of the options that we can lead these SDGs, and definitely we will get higher economic boost to the country. This is, you all know, maybe I don't want to go. This is the three principles that we will talk about conservation agriculture. That's called residue retention, minimum tillage and soil disturbance, and crop rotations that we call crop diversifications as well. So these are the three principles. And these are the benefits of three principles that we talk. What are the benefits of crop diversifications? That will lead, like if you talk about crop diversification, reduces the outcome, occurrence of pest, disease, by interrupting their life cycles. It also breaks and controls of weeds life cycles, as well as also, though some weeds are associated with particular crops, if we change the crops in cropping systems and rotations, that cycle can be break, and then we can control the weeds. Adequately distribute nutrients in soil profile due to having different root systems, like deep root system, like root systems, and then some other root systems that can be helped to distribute properly of nutrition. Reduces environment economic risk in case of an event negative affecting certain crops, but some crops can be still survive, and allows to balance residue production. Some crops like more residue and then others. If we talk about minimum soil movement, there are benefits of avoid compaction and then soil surface sealing, reduce erosion, and then improve soil fertility and structure. And if we talk about crop, that's what sorts mulch and soil coverage with crop biomass, then it also adds high water infiltration, and available soil water content. It reduces evaporations and also less water and wind erosion, and is also maintains soil temperature and thermal soil thermal activity properties, and that will increase helps to more biological activities. If we talk about the current status of conservation agriculture globally, recently it's like 180 million of hectare under conservation agriculture. Good thing is that since from one decade, that almost 10 million hectare annually is coming under conservation agriculture. And that's showing the interest of policymakers and the importance of conservation agriculture. If we go in India, complete conservation agriculture is, in all crops is difficult, because we have a complex system. We have a rice-based system, we have vegetable-based system, we have different varieties of farmers and all. But in form of, like, I would say conservation agriculture, we talk that we have around 2.5 million hectares area under conservation agriculture in India, but it's in different form. And that's why we wrote a one paper that if we follow and stick with three principles of CA, maybe it's not possible in South Asia due to complexity, because these principles made for rain-fed dryland agriculture. And farmers only take one crop in a year. But here in our cases, we take 3 crops, 4 crops even in a year. 2 crops are very common, but farmers take 3 and 4 crops even. So how they will follow conservation agriculture is very, and this priorities is also changed, because they will not keep field for rice wheat. They change their field for their priorities. That's, they will grow sometimes rice, vegetables, vegetable, wheat, and so on. So that's why we can take and adopt maximum say 3 principles as much as possible, and then do conservation agriculture. And if that consider, our areas is 2.5 million. If we talk about overall benefits of CA, this is came from like more than 350 on-farm participatory research. Maybe Sarah knows that we conducted one of the project called SRFSI, Sustainable and Resilient Farming System Intensifications, in Eastern Gangetic Plains, that include 3 countries. If we go through and if we conclude the results, that it says 5 to 10% increase the system. We will not say it increased 20% and all, but there are some gains up to 5 to 10% on system basis. Maybe sometimes it's yield penalty in rice, but it's more gain in succeeding crops. It also saves 8 to 17% irrigation water. If this water is accounted or considered in northeastern or northwestern IGP, then it's more savings, because this is saving coming from high rainfall areas where most of crop is taking as a rain-fed crop rather than irrigated crop. It saves labor 26 to 46% depending on crops. And if you look at that, maximum saving is coming for fuel and energy. That's 46 to 62%, which is a huge. And that energy we can save for future. And it gives 16 to 16%, 56% higher profitability, and it's reduced. That's a good thing that nowadays we are talking 11 to 16% carbon equivalent emissions to the environment. So that's the overall benefits of CA. This is the paper. It came recently in Nature Sustainability, and it clearly shows that how CA works. So this is almost, in this paper we covered from Asia, that's on-farm and on-station studies. And if you look for different crops and different parameters, if you look at that, we have considered 4 parameters: grain yield, protein equivalent yield, water use efficiency, and net economic returns. In all parameters, either on-station and on-farm, it clearly shows the benefits over the base. So it's on all parameters, on station and on farm, and overall definitely is coming. So it shows that it has a potential to adopt to scale in large area. This is earlier talking about different parameters. Here we are talking about all these 3 parameters in different cropping systems. So if you look at that in rice wheat, rice maize, and others that is legume based and oilseed based and all. If you look at it, all cropping system in all scenarios, again conservation agriculture based management practices showing better results and positive results. It's giving high results. That's grain yield, water use efficiency higher, and higher net income. And that's again, it works for agriculture will work everywhere or not. If we look at that conservation agriculture, we have a mixed result in sandy core soils, where we get negative as well as positive results. But other than sandy core soils, in all types of soils, again it shows better results as compared to business as usual. So in sandy core soils, again, why this is declined? Because it's due to rice. Because still rice is not, we don't have much still, confidence and improved on rice breedings or management is still that we only will go direct seeded rice under no-till, or in that situation still there is a yield penalty. So we need to be work and then do more research that how to be address this, especially in core sandy soils. So how we can develop our programs that can be rice cultivars can grow under aerobic condition under coarse sand soils as well. So that's work is going on, and that's maybe in future we will address this issue as well. This is about rice equivalent system yields under different cropping systems. So rice system, rice wheat, maize, mung bean, rice wheat jute, rice maize, rice lentil, mung bean, and rice lentil jute. So different cropping system with intensifications. So rice cropping system, yes, yield is high, but is not sustainable. But if you look, rice wheat system is good for Northwest, but it's not good for at all Eastern Gangetic Plain zones like West Bengal, Bihar, Eastern Tribe of Nepal, and Bangladesh. So that's not good. So we have to look other options. So other option is coming. If you want to take rice wheat, we have to be intensify either mung bean or either jute, because jute is one of the such a good crop that can restore our soil fertility because it adds lot of soil biomass, and it's have a deep root system. Because mung bean is sometimes not possible in eastern part because it's high rainfall. That's synchronized with maturity, and that's creating a problem. But jute is a very nice crop, and that can be add value. Rice maize system is coming big way in eastern irrigating plain zones, which is high productive and also more sustainable. Rice lentil is again is good system, but sometimes we have a more issue of biological stresses and all. So these are the systems when we add, and intensify, it adds value. And if we add further conservation agriculture, it's further, gives more benefits. This is about energy, and that's why I told that rice system is not sustainable. It's highly energy, intensive, because it requires a lot of water, intensive tillages for puddling and dry tillages and so on, and lot of labor as well. So this is not sustainable in terms of energy use. But if you look at that, rice lentil is so energy efficient. Again, we have a problem of biological stresses and all. But maize and then this intensification crop systems is very good for energy efficient as compared to rice. So, and more profitable as well. And then also more eco-friendly, that's it's also reduce less CO2 equivalent emissions. So that's why it's kind of like we have to think about our cropping system, which cropping system is suitable and fits in which ecologies. This is about labor use, it's similar results. If we talk about rice wheat conventional system to rice wheat conservation agriculture. If you look at that, again, when we will adopt conservation agriculture in systems, it significantly reduce the labor uses in rice wheat, rice maize, and rice lentil system, all three systems. Similarly, gross margins also higher under conservation agriculture as compared to conventional system in all three systems. This is a paper again that's we evaluated 10 indicators. That's system rice equivalent yield, total energy, water use, CO2 equivalent emissions, energy productivity, gross margins, cost, labor use, and so on. And again, this is change over conventional system. And this T2 says partial CA, where rice is under conventional and succeeding dry land winter crop is under zero tillage. T3 and T4 are full conservation agriculture. Both system or all three systems are under conservation agriculture. And if you look at that, one will adopt partial CA, means one system is in conventional, another next following system in CA is still giving benefits. But if we do full CA, it adds further benefits. So that's the saying. So it gives higher yield, CO2 equivalent emissions is reduced. See that here as compared to CA, that is reduced like 6 to 14%, CO2 equivalent emissions. Change in energy productivity is highly energy, efficient, and total energy is significantly reduced as compared to conventional. This is again, I told is 10 indicators. So this is about irrigation water, it's saving, there's no doubt about that, and change in total water, change in water productivity is a positive, it's a change in labor, it's significantly reduced up to 50%, change in production cost, significantly reduced by 15 to 20% as compared to conventional, and change in gross margins up to 30% higher gross margins farmers can get. This is very interesting slides, and if you look at this is came from our long-term platforms, a platform in Canal, maybe some of you visited, and it says that this is farmers practice where rice wheat system under conventional system, business as usual. Partial CA means rice is under conventional, and then wheat and mung bean, following crop under zero till. This is rice, wheat, mung bean system. All are under no till system, full CA, following 3%. And this is maize wheat system instead of rice wheat system with full CA principles. And if you look at that, If we adopt in same system intensifications and full CA, it reduces the global warming potential. But if we diversify rice with maize, it's significantly reduce the global warming potential, because rice emits more methane and all. And there is also debate on that when we'll do direct seeded rice and puddling rice. But in case of puddling rice, we reduce the methane emission, but doing direct seeded rice, we also increase the NO2 kind of like losses, or what we call that emissions. So that sometimes that's compensated, but that amount of NO2 is less, so it's still benefit to global warming potential. This is another paper that's because there are many studies and hypotheses and theories prove when we increase the management level, we also increase the global warming potential or CO2 equivalent emissions. But if we do conservation agriculture based management practices, we can reduce CO2 emissions, but we can also get higher productivity as well as net returns. This is very nice, relations we can see it. So we can you see here, we can get higher productivity and net income with less CO2 equivalent emissions by adopting conservation agriculture based management practices. This is in rice wheat, this is in rice maize. Similar results are there in two cropping system. Now I will move how this conservation agricultural practices are resilient to climate change. This is the figure that we have. So if you look at that, this is published in 2009 as well. The photosynthesis and leaf water potential we measured in wheat, where we have a residue in no-till in system and no residue in conventional system, or either no-till system. You can see significant differences. So if you look at that, where we have a residue, we have lower leaf water potential as compared to residue. Similarly, if you look at that, where we have a residue in conventional versus no-till system, if you look at that higher photosynthesis rates we can see, because plants are more active, because there's more water available, and also temperature is maintained at the time of flowering. And this is at time of flowering stage, and you can see that's clear difference that we get higher photosynthesis rate. Very interesting figure. If we monitor from seeding to harvesting, this canopy temperature, and we look at that where we have a residue and crop mulch, the canopy temperature is lower 2 to 3 degrees Celsius as compared where we don't have a residue. And that shows and why is that happen? Because where we have a mulch, we consume more soil water, and plants have a more opportunity to transpire more water in the microclimate, and that keeps cooler. And that sometimes helps to mitigate or to adapt in adverse where we have heat waves, and that will help to more grain filling in that conditions, to keeping your microclimates is more cooler. This is that figure and picture came from 2014-15 in Northwest India. There was a heavy rain at the time of flowering and milking stage. And if you look at that, there are same plots, it's sown on the same day. This is difference only, it's under happy seeder with full residue, and this was seeded with rotavator. And why is happened? Because here water is stagnant for more time, so there was a more problem of waterlogging. So wheat crop was burned, and here water was more percolate or infiltrate, and there was no water in the field stagnation, and crop survives very well. So that gives how this maybe you will not see the differences in good year, but when we have a climate stress, then we will only see the differences. That's how these conservation agriculture are important to mitigate the climate, change challenges. This is the same that if you look at that wheat in Haryana and Punjab, and then same figures came from this paper in same year study. And if you look, that's how this, CA system is more resilient as compared to, conventional system. If you look at this, again, this is from USA, no, this is from Bisa, Ludhiana. And it's again same high rainfall. This is conventional, this is no-till with sappy seeder. Here you can see after still water is stagnation, there is a water logging, but you will not find any water. So it also helps to recharge our aquifers, not only to help to crop, but also helps to recharge because it reduces runoff. So water will go more, in the soil profile and recharge our aquifers as well. This is again lodging percentage in different districts in both Haryana and Punjab. And if you look at that, where we have a rotavator, you will see a lot of lodging. And this is the last year data. But where we have a happy seeder is minimum lodging. And there was last year again, there was a rain, and there was some light storms in Northwest India at the time of maturity. And you will see the lodging percentage. It's clear difference. And why it happened? Because in rotavator, when you will run the rotavator, it will create a, below 3 to 4 centimeter head pan. Soil looks very good, but create a head pans, and then it's restrict the root growth. When this kind of stresses like storms and high rainfalls and all comes, then there is a, only roots remain on topsoils, and with light winds they lodged. But happy seeder root system is so strong, it's not easily lodged, So that's why they are more, resilient to climate. This is maize, same picture. This is conventional with no residue, fresh beds with conventional and maize. This is permanent beds with residue. You can see maize crop is already died here, but maize crop is surviving here. So that's how they are, to resilient to climate change. Same picture, fresh bed versus permanent beds. This is about rice, where we have a direct seeded rice and where we have a puddle transplanted rice. And this picture is from Bihar, from Vaishali. And if you look at that in 2017, there was a drought in initial year stage of crop, and farmer couldn't able to transplant rice because there was no rain. But still, direct seeded rice is surviving. So that's way we can call more resilient. This is from Mexico, with residue and without residue. You can see the differences again. How that crop is happy under where we have a residue, where we don't have residue. Now I will talk about soil health and how they can be mitigate to resiliency. This is about long-term experiment from Canal, again from research platform, where we have 4 scenarios. And if you look at that, how is increase soil organic carbon with time. And this is after 8 years of the experiment. Now we have this experiment is more than like 11 years. So it's more benefits, and it's also highly relate with the recycling of residue. So when we increase the load of recycling of residue, we also increase the soil organic carbon on surface soils. But it needs to be more study on soil profile on all carbon sequestration. This is only soil surface carbon, but we done also soil profile carbon and sequestration. The same results are coming. This is about changes in nutrient content and soil quality index. And if you see that soil organic carbon, NP and pH and K, and if you see that both are green where we have a full CA, we will increase significantly all this nutrient content, and is also increase the soil quality index. This paper published in 2018 again in Soil Catena, I think that's so yeah. It's also look at that is infiltration rate with time, as well as also reduce subsurface penetration. Where we have scenario 1, if you look at that, subsurface penetration is high due to more clays and repetitive clays as compared to no-till system or CS system. If you look at also that infiltration rate is increasing with time as compared to conventional system, but doesn't mean that increasing infiltration rate is good for rice. Maybe excellent for succeeding crops or dryland crops like wheat, maize, lentil, mustard, oilseeds and all, but maybe not good for rice. And that's why we need to do more research for rice, how we can grow rice aerobically, and we need to be focused more on rice breeding on those aspects. I talk about soil temperature. That's how it's buffered, and this is throughout the seasons. We monitor at 7 o'clock in the morning and 3 p.m. at afternoon. And if you look, it's almost buffered like 5 to 6 degrees Celsius of temperature. So in conventional system, in surface soil temperature is low, but in afternoon, this is reverse. It's high. So it's buffered under CS system. So that's the way, and this is same for soil metric potential. We will monitor through 10 throughout the season, and we will see that's where we have a residue and then CA. We will get higher, what we call that, lower soil metric potential as compared to conventional system. This is leaf limiting water, which we call sometimes as a kind of like what we would say reflectance of all physical properties, and LLWR is called as a kind of water content at 10% aridity or critical moisture at 10 kPa minus water content at critical mechanical resistance, which is called 2 megapascal. After, if resistance is higher than 2 megapascal, this is proof that root growth is restricted, due to this penetration. And that shows in no-till system where we have T5 and T6, you will see that's higher, what we call that LLWR as compared to conventional system in T1 and T2. This is about microbial properties and then enzymatic properties. If you look at that, so dehydrogenase, activity, microbial carbon biomass, phosphate, activities, and then microbial nitrogen and all. And if you look at in where we have a scenario based of conservation agriculture with full cycle of residue in different cropping system, we will see more, these activities. If you look at that scenario 2, this is hybrid, and that is coming. Why? Because in every after 2 crops, whatever we retain residue, we incorporate in soil profile, within 20 centimeters. That helps to be more, these activities. But with time, this will also increase up to that level. So that's we are assuming, that will help. This also improves, bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes, rice-based systems. It's like 26% increase in bacteria. And these bacteria, we did further study of positive and negative as well. And we found very interesting results. Fungi 61% and actinomycetes 92%. Similarly, in maize-based systems, same results, similar results we are also observing. This is very interesting study we done in canal with how that weed seed is disappeared. And we put counted seeds in all plots, conventional where we have a full residue in maize-based and all. And we found very interesting. And if you look at that in conventional system versus in where we have a residue, the disappearance of seeds from the surface, counted seeds, are very high where we have a residue as compared to conventional system. So that's also helps. That's why I'm saying that initial weed management is important. After that, its system is takes self take care. And that's why because more predators are available, they will pick up seeds and then they eat those seeds, and then weed population decrease with time. So I'm coming on now final stage. How much time is available, Siraj?
you can take 5 to 7 minutes more, sir.
Okay, I will try to be finished.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
So now we'll talk about strategies for scaling and adoption of CA. So there are issues of philosophical and perceptions. That's still not only with farmers, but with still there are perceptions having in mind of researchers and how to complete that. We need to be articulate our research differently. We need to be create an infrastructure for around the CA ecosystems. Definitely capacity and knowledge is very, very important. We have to work on that. And finally, policy and investment is required for more, large scale adoption of the CA. And what kind of, myths are available? It's still like several myths around CA which are far away from their realities. We'll say, oh, CAs work only in this rice wheat system. It will not work in maize wheat. It will not work in rice egg. It will not work in like legume system. It will not work in dry land agriculture, so on so. So these are the myths without doing anything because we conclude immediately, but that's not true. It's also like we need to create evidences while working with farmers and convince to our farmers that this is the only way that we can survive and we can sustain our agriculture for the future. And that requires working together. Isolation doesn't work. This is articulation. One side doesn't fit at all, because if you recommend that's as a blanket, that's this I done this experiment, it will work everywhere. It's not going to work. We have to do with modified and fine-tune our recommendations, as well as our research, as well as our machines, as well as our mindsets as per ecologies and typologies and soil types and cropping systems. So that's depend on that. We cannot recommend, like a blanket. Definitely discovery to delivery pathways. We need to be work to find new discoveries and new science on nutrient, on weed management, on insect pest management, on cropping systems, so on so. We need to be revisit our CA principles. Sometimes we stick with 3 principles and we will kind of like critiques that this is not possible because we cannot follow 3 principles. We need to be keep 3 principles in mind, how we can be accommodate them, but it's not necessarily we'll stick strictly with that. Sometimes we'll say that how is possible minimum tillage or zero tillage in potato. We know that we can seed potato in no-till system, but while harvesting we have to disturb soil. But we can do that. How we can minimize tillage, ill effects by reducing the number of passes and number of intensity of tillage. That should be our goal rather than stick with principles and all. Definitely we'll work on so many things on wheat, pest, variety, dynamics and interactions and environment management and kind of genotype interaction and so on. So to be more development in structure definitely is required, and due to time shortage I don't want to go take, but we need to be established as a kind of manufacture hubs, and then like spare parts, and then post-sale service workshops and all. So that is required because this is new machines, and if spare parts is not available, why farmers invest? Because maybe some parts is broken and it's no use for them. So it has to be spare parts and workshops, and all are available in all ecologies. Definitely we need to revisit our course curriculum in universities, as well as also we have nowadays very strong CA courses in place. So that will help in future, hopefully to that. And ICR is taking, Government of India is focusing on CA practices, especially in Northwest India, to mitigate this pollution issues and to manage rice residues, especially. Capacity building is required and practical. This is the Nepal farming, that's what is happening after rotavator. And he's realized himself that's how rotavator is compacting soils within 2 to 3 centimeter below of that. Field looks good, but if you look at how compacting the soil, so they knows, but the field looks good, that's why they are doing, and they are saying that we know, but what we'll do. So that's why we need to be popularize our CA based and all. This is kind of a MOOC messy online course that we conducted, and this kind of course can be very helpful to provide this message and awareness and knowledge very easily. And nowadays these webinars and are helping, similar way. So that way we can reach maximum people, scientists, community, farmers, as well as service providers and all. Advanced A course I already talked, and policy is very important, and we need to be, provide a very strong based policy driven, kind of policies. And for that we need a very strong evidences. We cannot say that, oh, this will work very well. And sometimes that's like nowadays what is happening, this super seeders came, rotavators came without any evidences, without any, research. We are doing research on CA from 20 years and we are telling them, but sometimes there is some lobbies behind, they force and they, endorse and the, government do. So that's how we, avoid these kind of non-evidence based policies and all. That sometimes is highly counter, part to this very good technology or green technologies. This is epicidal, it's science paper, it came from CIMIT, and and there are many partners, and it clearly shows that epicidal is the best option to deal rice residue in situ management. This is policies that there are several, so I don't want, but I will take 2 minutes on this. This is business.
No issue, sir. No issue. Be comfortable.
So this is for that. So for scaling these models, we have to have a business models in our hand in communities. So there are several kinds of business model, but without business models in communities, we cannot scale at large, areas. So we need to have. So this is very nice business model that's all stakeholders come together and they approach to farmers clubs, and farmers clubs deliver all services, seed to seed. That's take care of technology, inputs, even also supplying of seed and fertilizers. And they also now serve, providing the, what we call that agro advisory to the farmers on payment basis, minimum basis and all to the farmers. And that way it goes, in big way. So we need to have a kind of like very strong business model in place. And that business model will be, different, as per ecologies and typologies and areas, because we cannot implement one kind of business model in everywhere. So that depends on, in Punjab and Haryana, it will be different model as compared to Gangetic Plains, and eastern part of India. This is my second last. So how we move towards to transition to meditate for this sustainability. So we need to have a long-term science-based evidences that can be, convinced to the policies and research leaders that this is the way that we can sustain. Participatory on-farm validation and refinement, backward and forward integration is very, very important. Not only one way, but we have to listen them, and then we will modify our research and our technology, and then go back to, implement and with improved technologies. We have to work on varieties, nutrient, water, and wheat and insect dynamics, definitely. We need to have a multidisciplinary conservation actors. It doesn't mean that agronomy and engineers. It has to be social scientists, engineers, agronomy, like insect pest, wheat, breeders, all kind of, multidisciplinary scientists and teams is required to do this kind of behavioral change as well. Like we need to think about behavioral change of the communities as well as societies, how they react with new technologies and all. Science evidence-based back policy that we talk, that's how is important. And science is scaling, business models as is required, which will include social inclusivity. And definitely capacity and development is required. And this is my conclusion. Conservation agricultural system intensification and improves definitely system rice equivalent yield or system yield, what energy efficiency, energy use efficiency, labor efficiency, and gross margins for smallholders, farmers in Asia. CASI can contribute to sustainable development goals for food, energy, water, and access with additional benefit to environment and resilience and social prosperity. provide opportunity for rural youth employment, because we need to include them in our these missions, and women's empowerment need to be adapted to local farming system and environment geography. Institutional linkage is very, very important. We cannot work in isolation, and capacity are important. Not only capacity for farmers, but also capacity required for institutions and organizations. Needs strong governance and policy support to ensure full benefits of the success of CASI. I think that's my talk, and thank you very much for that. I'm happy to be for further discussion, and if there are any questions, I will try to be my best to give the answers.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mahesh Kumar Gatala, for this nice and informative presentation. And more importantly, what I would like, this is all based upon the research that Sir has been conducted, because we have been with him for a couple of years. We have seen how dedication he has been putting in research. So I would like to ask Dr. Latif, course director, to take selected questions from the participants, panelists, so that our respected speaker can respond.
Okay, Dr. Shiraz, thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation. We have first question from Dr. Nayak. In conservation agriculture system, how rice is planted? Is it Padlet rice or direct seeded rice?
Nayak, sorry, I couldn't describe during presentations, and this is very nice question, and I'm happy to clarify this. That one way is go for direct seeded rice under no-till system, and another way that nowadays we have this mechanized, transplanting system, mechanical transplanter. And if we go, that mechanical transplanter, its efficiency is much higher under unpuddled conditions in no-till system as compared to puddled. Because when we do mechanical transplanting in puddled situations, sometimes we have a problem of soil movement, which buried 2 to 3 rows. But if we run this mechanical rice transplant in zero-till system, after saturation of soil, it's perfect, no problem at all. And this is, it's going, slowly is increasing in eastern part of India. Hope, provide satisfactory answer on this.
Sir, one more question from Dr. Jagdisha. How this conservation agriculture works in plantation crop like acre nut, and how we can improve the yield by this conservation agriculture in acre nut. Erica nut.
Yeah, again, I told that we should not be too much selective because I told that CA is not possible everywhere. And that's why maybe we can do, this groundnut and areca nuts and all kind of even potatoes and all. We can seed in no-till system, but while harvesting, it requires soil disturbance, definitely, by digging and all. So, but our target or our objective should be that how we can remove the tillage from the system and we can reduce the tillage intensity. That's the goal, rather than stick that, we should not disturb at all, because it's not possible in some of crops, but our target should be eliminate the, effect or intensity or kind of like tillage, not rather than to be stick with some principle and, on that.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question from Dr. Himali Bijani. Sir, it was observed that small land holding does not give prominent yield under conservation agriculture, and farmers not following it for continuous years for better result due to less yield. What measures could we take in such conditions? Because in India, major land holding is small.
This is very good question, and I showed my most of results. All results belong to very small farmers, and that shows clearly it's beneficial. But I fully agree that considering the very complex system in Eastern EGP, especially smallholder farmers, where we have 3 to 4 crops in a year, and where we have a rice. So farmers are still reluctant to do or adopt no-till or conservation practices in rice, but they don't have doubt to adopt conservation practices in upland or winter crops, winter dry crops. like maize, wheat, mustard, oilseed, and so on. So again, I have not said that we will force to farmers to adopt complete CA, rather than we will give the options, and that option should be not only one. We will give options, a basket of options to the farmers, and we'll show that okay, if we do conservation agriculture in one crop or two crops, you will get this much of benefit. But you will do conservation agriculture as a whole system, then you will get that much of benefits. And we'll leave that option to the farmers. Whatever he wants to pick, to pitch to him, he will pick and then adopt. Rather than we will say, we force to farmer, no, you have to do this, and then you have to adopt all kind of CA principles and conservation in all crops. It's not possible considering that farmers has to be changed their cropping system to their priorities, because they are small and they also depend on their livelihoods on that agriculture. So sometimes they grow potato, sometimes they grow tomato, sometimes they grow cereal crops, and so on. So those they change. So our target again should be how to eliminate the ill effects from the system by reducing tillage and then deteriorating soil structure. That should be our target, rather than we'll say, oh, you have to adopt all. So that's my answer.
Okay, sir. One last question from T.S. Kanya. Since millets are climate resilient crops, how far these conservation practices find place under millet cropping system?
Sorry?
Sir, the question is from Dr. T.S. Kanya. Since millets are climate resilient crops, how far these conservation practices find place under millet cropping system?
Okay. Sukanya ji, if you look at that in globally, the conservation agriculture success rate is more in rainfed and dryland agriculture. Unfortunately, in our India, we still don't have much adoption or research under fine, millets or minor millets. And there is no doubt that we need to be more research on that, but there is no issue that millets will perform very well under conservation agriculture. And that requires, more efforts to convince farmers as well as to adopt, this kind of technology and see that's how results are coming. So that's way it's required. So, but there's no doubt, because I belong to Rajasthan and we adopted the permalate under no-till systems, no problem. Even we do legumes after harvest of permalates. This is nothing new. Farmers is doing since many centuries. If you go back, farmers generally do after harvest of permalate. Farmers immediately seed chickpea in no-till system, and they call that system is kind of like betty soil or something like that. And that was very common. Nowadays it's disappeared, but that was very common. So whatever we are talking, this no-till is not new. It's already adopted by the farmers.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Latif, and thank you, respected speaker, responding the queries of the participants. And more important point, what Sir has told us, that's the inclusion of the conservation agriculture in our course curriculum. I think that's the important point he made in the end of his presentation. And already in one of our training program, same recommendations was put forward. I would request to the course director to put this point as a recommendation in a training report that there must be the conservation agriculture included in a course curriculum, at least to UGN PG level. So thank you very much, Professor Gatala, for sharing this wonderful session with us, for being with us. And if anyone,
Dr. Shiraz,
Dr. Ashik, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
before you
sir,
conclude.
please. Our pleasure.
I want to ask one or two small questions.
Yes, please.
To Professor Mahesh Gatala. Sir, the application of conservation agriculture under the heavy soils, we have noticed it here in Kashmir Valley. When we reduce the tillage, particularly in the winter crops, we face a lot of problem in establishment, and also we notice higher disease infestation. And over years, we have seen that under these conditions, cold and heavy soil conditions, we have almost medium textured soils, silty clay loam. So what's your idea about the different soil types when we say the application of this conservation agriculture, and regarding the temperature regimes that we experience? It is totally frosty for almost 3 months over here. And second question is regarding the perennial weeds. The establishment of perennial weeds in the conservation agricultural systems. Generally, it is reported that there is higher weed infestation for the shift towards the perennial weeds. I want to hear something about these two questions from you, sir.
Thank you, Senji. Both your questions are very valid and important. So I will give first answer that again it depends where we are. So when we'll talk about Jammu and especially in Kashmir valleys and all, where you will see very low temperature sometimes, and also like snowfall as well, and that could be negative for crop in a no-till system as compared to conventional system. And that's why, because when we have a snow and very low temperature under no-till systems, it keeps soil warm for sometimes, but your microclimate is so cold, so your plant is froze and your root is still active, and in that way your cell it's burst and then crop can be burned. And this we have evidence of that kind of issues as well. So it depends where we are. Also, when we have a residue and mulch, if snowfall comes, it keeps takes time to cool, but it also take longer time to get warm as well under no-till system as compared to conventional. So it's when snow is there and then takes longer time, it's also have a negative effect sometimes. So it depends where we are. So we need more research on this kind of ecologies, and it depends, on soil types and all. As such, if we talk about, again, it depends on cropping system. If we talk about rice wheat, maybe in heavy soils, rice performs very well, but it depends, on climate and all. There is a mixed results on disease infestations, on conservation agriculture. We found some of diseases more, but some of diseases significantly reduced. And similarly, insect pests like termite. In conservation agriculture, we assume that termite should be more, but we've seen that termite, infestation or damage is much lower in the no-till system as compared to conventional, because termites likes more dead residue, that is available for them, so they prefer that rather than they attack on crop. But in conventional, they don't have this kind of residue and they attack more on that. Now I'm coming to your second question, perennial weeds, which is very important. And if you have a perennial weeds, we have to work hard for initial 1 or 2 years to manage them, which is no way that we can compromise with them. If we will compromise with them, it will be a big problem under conservation agriculture. And rather than we are looking good things, we will see more perennial weeds and more weed biomass and more competition with crops and all. So that can go even in negative way as well. So initial 1 or 2 is also very important to cover, manage perennial weeds as well.
Thank you very much, sir, for your elaborate and convincing response. And I would like to say that I was fortunate enough to see some of your work at IR and then at Lodwal, Bisa. And I have also visited your Jabalpur farm on this conservation agriculture, and particularly the zero-till wheat. You are, sir, really doing a wonderful work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Dr. Ashik. We shall be ending the session with utmost thanks to our respected speaker, Professor Mahesh Gatala, for being with us and for accepting invitation. Whenever we invite sir, he is ready to accept all kinds of invitation, and very much informative presentation. And we'll be looking some sort of collaboration with the summit, sir. I have already discussed it with the respected speaker. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us this session and sharing your profound knowledge with us, sir, based upon the experience and your research work. Thank you again, sir.
So thank you again.
Well, we shall, before you leave, sir. Yes, sir.
No, this I will highly thankful,
Okay.
and it's my pleasure to always, come, and then it's my second home. I work with Siraj very longly, and it's very nice to be here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And we are working together with definitely always like ICR is one of key and leader umbrella under umbrella of ICR. We are doing all this research with all universities,
Yes.
And with ICR institutes and all. So thank you very much for giving.
Thank you, sir. Before you leave, we shall having a one group photograph, sir. I would request to all the participants, panelists,
that would be great.
To open up the cameras for a group photograph with our respected speaker of today's session. May I request always to take the photograph, and I once again request all the participants to kindly open up their cameras. Well, a very good evening, sir. I think Dr. R.C. Agarwal, DDG Education, has already joined us, sir. A very good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
And a very warm welcome, sir, that you are with us, sir, during this final and concluding session of this international training program. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us.
Now it is becoming cold, so we need warm welcome.
Professor Nazir has joined us, sir, who is the Director Planning and Monitoring, and also the Principal Investigator of NAHI project. I welcome him also, Professor Nazir Ganai.
Namaskar, sir. Dr. Agarwal, sir.
Namaskar, namaskar. How are you?
Fine, sir. आप कैसे हैं, सर? यार कश्मीर में ठंड शुरू हो गई, हमने खिड़कियां सब बंद कर दी. आज यहाँ बादल भी है.
दिल्ली में भी हो गया है.
Yeah, it's not getting cold here. आप कैसे सर? आप ठीक सर? All well?
बढ़िया. Yes, all well.
Very nice, sir.
We have been with our respected speaker, Dr. Mahesh Kumar Gatala, sir. We're there, I think. Well, we shall be taking a group photograph with all. I would request always to take a group photograph with all.
There's a comment from chat that we, as a host, you should allow everybody to on their camera.
Yeah. Now we are enabling everyone, sir. But in this, we can. There's a restriction in panelists that we can adopt only 100 panelists in this. So.
Okay.
Always, I would request you to enable all the participants to enable their cameras for a group photograph with our respected speaker.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, yes, we'll be starting also the valedictory session because already our important guests have joined also with us. Okay, are we done, Wes?
Yes, sir, we're done.
Okay, always Dr. Maheshwari has also joined. Kindly add her as a panelist.
Yes, sir, I have joined.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Namaste.
A very good evening and warm welcome to Professor Dr. Maheshwari, who is the Director, ICR Central Institute of Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture. We welcome you, ma'am, in the final concluding session of this 10 days international training program. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice.
Thank you. I think our respected Vice Chancellor sir is yet to join. Maybe.
Well,
good evening, Shiraz. Actually, I just talked to
Yes,
our
Dr.
Honorable
Samir.
Vice Chancellor, and because of some preoccupations, he may not be able to join us
Okay,
tonight.
okay,
So I am
okay.
sorry that he couldn't inform earlier, but just now he just extended his thanks to all the panelists, especially our DDJ Education sir and Dr. Maheshwari ma'am. So we can carry on with our program.
Okay. Shall we proceed, sir, with the final concluding of this training program? Professor Nazir Saab?
Yes, please, we can proceed.
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. Thank you all for joining this final and concluding session of this 10 days international training program. Well, all the praises be to Almighty God, the cherisher and the sustainer of the world, master of the day of the judgment, who bestowed us all with health and courage to witness this concluding session of this 10 national training program on climate risk management, climate risk assessment and risk management through agrometeorological approaches. Respected chief guest of the session, Professor R.C. Agarwal, Deputy Director General Education, ICR, also the National Director, National Agriculture Higher Education Project. From the guest of honor, we have with us Professor M. Maheshwari, Director ICR, Central Research Institute, Royal and Agriculture, Hyderabad, and Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai, who is Director Planning and Monitoring, and Principal Investigator, National Agriculture Higher Education Project, SCOST Kashmir. Convener, Professor Sher Ahmad Dar. Co-conveners, Dr. Muhammad Anwar Bhatt, Dr. Samira Koyum of this training program. Course Director, Dr. Latif Ahmad, members of other organizing committee, other distinguished participants who have successfully completed this 10 days online international training program and joined us in this valedictory session from different parts of the India, foreign delegates, heads of the various divisions of the university, faculty members, research scholars, and students. I, Dr. Said Shiraz, on behalf of organizing committee, in high spirit with great pleasure and honor, welcome and greet you all in this final and concluding a session of 10 days online international program on climate risk assessment and risk management through agrometeorological approaches. We are very delighted and feel really privileged to have you all on board during this valedictory session. And before we carry out the proceedings of this important session, let me request Professor Muhammad Anwar Bhatt, Head Division of Agronomy, SCOST of Kashmir, also the co-convener of this training program, for the welcome address. Professor Muhammad Anwar. If I'm audible, to...
So 1 second.
Muhammad Anwar is there, I think.
Yes, sir. Muted.
Yes, Shiraz.
Yes. I have requested you, sir. Thank you very much. I have requested you for the welcome address in this important session of valedictory of this international training program. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shiraz. I'm sorry for being late. I have been made panelist a bit late.
No issue, sir.
All praises to Almighty Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of this universe, and with whose blessings presently we are part of this valedictory program. Honorable Chief Guest of today's valedictory, Deputy Director General Education ICAR, Dr. R.C. Agarwal. Revered guests of honor, Director Krida, Hyderabad, Dr. M. Maheshwari, Worthy Director Planning and PI Nehab, Professor Nazir Ganaisa, Course Director and Course Co-Director, Course Convener, Professor S.A. Dar, respected faculty, dear colleagues, distinguished participants, and dear students. A very good evening to all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Namaskar and Sat Sri Akal. It's a matter of great pleasure and honor for me to formally welcome you all to this valedictory session of 10 days online training program on climate risks assessment and its management using advanced agrometeorological approaches. I take this opportunity to welcome our honorable chief guest, Dr. Agarwalji, who is the National Director of National Agricultural Higher Education Project, our revered guests of honor, Dr. Maheshwariji, Professor N.A. Ganaisa, who, despite of their very busy schedule, accepted our invitation and spared their valuable time with us. Thank you very much, sir and madam, for being with us today. I extend my warm welcome to heads of various divisions, units, stations, and our faculty members, our revered participants who are very interactive during the sessions of this training program. It is their proactive participation that has added to the excellence of this training program. Thank you very much for joining us today. Sirs, we were fortunate enough to have eminent personalities as our speakers, as our resource persons, which included Nobel laureate Professor Ratan Lalji from Ohio State University, USA. And this was the reason we got overwhelming response, not only response, but participation from across the globe. And I hope the deliberations and discussions with our eminent speakers will be highly productive and quite useful. And such programs, I believe, will certainly drive our youngsters in better service of our farming community. On behalf of the organizing institute, Sher Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir and National Agricultural Higher Education Project, SCOST Kashmir, I extend my warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Anwar, who was also the co-convener of this training program, for welcoming our important guests during this valedictory function of this international training program. May I request now our course director of this training program, Dr. Latif, to present the training report and also the recommendations which has come from the various deliberations of eminent speakers across the globe. I request Dr. Latif to kindly present the training report and recommendations. Dr. Latif.
Respected delegates and my dear participants, good evening to all of you. I'm going to present the international training report and final policy recommendation after the deliberations of 10 days. Before proceeding, I'm thankful to NAHIP of our university, who gave us this platform where we can show our talent and bring world-class speakers on board for the benefit of students. So after the inception of NAHIP in SCOST Kashmir, which is the partner of National Initiative on Education Reforms, have been proactive in achieving stated objectives of the institutional development program. NAHIP program has focused on faculty and students' ecosystem and institutional reforms, which are the key areas of improvement. So NAHIP Kashmir has collaborated with leading global institutions and peers in agriculture research. So before COVID-19, leading global scientists visited our university. Even during the present situation, we have brought wisdom of leading scientists, including World Food Prize winner, Professor Ratan Lal, who was also the chief guest of our inaugural session. So we were having Sir Professor Viva Prasad, Professor Jonathan, Professor Hugan Boone, as well as national authorities of various subject domains. So till now, our university under NAHIP has conducted about 202 national and 92 international trainings and webinars with diverse national and international faculties as well as participants, in which about 15,000 students have been benefited. So we are thankful for bringing this program at national level, and the new national education policy which has been initiated by Government of India during 2020. It is the vision of NAHIP that has already been taken care of. Praises also goes to our worthy Director of Planning and PI NAHIP for his vision and leadership qualities, with whom this would not be possible. So regarding 10 days training, international training course, we had selected 330 participants across globe representing 7 countries. We are having participants from Myanmar, West Africa, Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Nepal. So 17 Indian states have participated in this program, representing 64 universities. So we had invited 12 lectures have been framed from this from world-renowned experts from IIT Bhubaneswar, ICR Krida, ICRISAT Hyderabad, IMD New Delhi, CIMIT Mexico, Ohio University USA, Canada, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Sir ISRO Hyderabad, ICARDA Egypt, NOAA Center USA, and US Darwin. So the policy recommendations and outcomes of the 10 days online training, climate risk assessment and management through agrometeorological approach are as under, sir. So as we all know that climate change has become a reality and a problem emerging much faster than all scenarios predicted. Climate change is not just an environmental issue as too many people still believe it. It is an all-encompassing threat to health, to agriculture, to peace, and security, to the global economy, to the very Mother Earth on which millions of people live. So climate-related risks are created by a range of climatic and weather hazards. Some hazards develop slowly in their onset, such as changes in temperature and precipitation leading to droughts or agricultural losses, while others happen more suddenly. So the objectives of the training were to analyze the use of agrometeorological approach for disaster risk management and management of extreme weather events, following significant recommendations from the deliberations of last 10 days from various brainstorming sessions could be inferred during the course of the training. So large-scale climate awareness is must and should be taken forward by multi-ministerial platforms. Development of customized training modules for capacity building of the stakeholders, including farmers, for enhancing implementation process. So preparation of nations requires intensive and inclusive steps for mitigation by adaptation of innovative practices. Nevertheless, continuous monitoring and evaluation of adaptation measures. Reduced food losses and wastage should be considered as one of the greatest climate change mitigation action. So incentive mechanism to the farmers and the practitioners who practice good agricultural practices related to water and fertilizer saving, residue, recycling, and integrated farming systems. So much more location-specific research is necessary to develop innovative way of adaptive measures and co-benefits of mitigation for reduced greenhouse gas emission in the sector. National Adaptation Fund sponsored projects need to be region-specific. The establishment of contingency cells at state agriculture universities with multidisciplinary team of scientists to provide technical input on regular basis in updating and for supporting the implementations process. So advanced information on possible weather conditions that are likely to be occur in next 2 to 3 days is very useful in deciding farm operations as Indian agriculture is highly vulnerable in aberrant weather. This information is also used for minimizing losses due to adverse weather conditions through modification of crop environment protection and frost, wind, and also irrigation scheduling, leading to efficient water management and drought preparedness, thereby improving agricultural productivity. So establishment of climate resilient villages for sustainable food security to enable the farmers to carry out various agricultural operations such as sowing of weather sensitive, high yielding varieties, need-based application of fertilizers, pesticides, efficient irrigation, planning for harvest. So with advancement in technology, blanket recommendation of agro-advisory services issued by IMD in collaboration with State Agriculture University at district level become grossly inadequate. As a result of AS-based medium range weather forecast has to be issued in a micro scale level. So risk management through weather-based crop insurance, the alternative index-based weather insurance products, that is on micro insurance products, that will be developed to overcome the defects in the traditional crop. Weather-based crop insurance uses weather parameters as proxy for crop yields and compensating the cultivators for deemed crop losses. So enhancing the resilience of Indian agriculture to cope with climate variability and climate change is vital to the livelihood security at household and village level and to meet the food requirement of the country. Practices that help to adapt to climate change in Indian agriculture are soil organic carbon, build-up, in situ moisture conservation, residue incorporation instead of burning, rainwater harvesting, smart farming, recycling for supplemental irrigation, cultivation of drought and flood tolerant varieties, water saving technologies, location specific agronomic management, and improved livestock feed and feeding method, which also have the potential for mitigation of greenhouse gas emission. So suggested measures for judicious up and outscaling of prune climate resilient technologies and CRV models include the following: and develop and crop diffuse crop varieties to tolerant to drought, heat, and flood. Establish village seed banks for easy and timely access to these varieties. Indigenous traditional knowledge in collecting germplasm, protecting natural resources need to be promoted at village level. So encourage diversification of rural income in vulnerable regions through off-farm activities for sustainable livelihood. Establish institutional mechanism at village level, including farmers, cooperative societies, self-help groups, climate risk management committees, for mobilization, active participation of village communities, sharing of information, planting material, and farm implements. So strengthening of agriculture extension and other technology delivery servicing, including advanced ICT modules to enhance farmers' capability to respond to climate stress. Sir, climate research and policy in agriculture sector to manage various extreme climate events and implementation of climate-friendly agriculture programs at grassroots level. So carbon budgeting at farm, village, block, district, state, and country level to monitor the sea change at global level. So to implement the crop management practice to enhance carbon residence time to the soil, to encourage the research in carbon dioxide harvesting and sequestration through geological, oceanic, chemical scrubbing, iron fertilization, pedological and biotic means. And so at last, to encourage the research and development in crop residue and agriculture waste management to reduce the emission. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Latif, presenting the report of a training and giving some important recommendations that has emerged from the various deliberations of the eminent speaker across the globe. More importantly, the deliberation, the presentation from Professor Ratanlal was important, and also Professor Mahesh Gatala, who has put this that the conservation agriculture should be included in a course curriculum. That was also an important point he has raised in the end during his presentation. Thank you very much. Before I would request our important guests of this Valedictory session for their address, it's important to take the feedback from the different participants who have been with us during the last 10 days continuously. So this is for the information to our chief guest and other guests of honor that we have randomly selected the participants for their feedback. So let me request first Dr. Chandramani Khanda from Odisha University of Agriculture Technology, Bhubaneswar. If I'm audible to Dr. Chandramani Khanda, if you're there. Chandramani Khanda, if I'm audible to you. Okay, well, meanwhile, she may connect to us, or maybe because of the poor connectivity. I would request our next participant, Dr. P. Amaji from Agriculture College, Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University, Andhra Pradesh. Dr. P. Amaji, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Just for a feedback, I have requested you.
Yes,
and more importantly, any constraint which you find in this training program, please, for a feedback.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, respected DDG, sir, and the Vice Chancellor, Shergi Kashmir Agricultural University, and Dr. Maheshwari Madam, Director Krida, and Dr. Nazir Ahmad, sir, Planning and Monitoring, and all the panelists and my co-participants across the globe. A very good evening to all of you. And myself, Dr. Amaji, I'm working as Associate Professor in the Department of Agronomy at Acharya N.G. Ranga Agricultural University. And today, I feel it as a privilege to give my feedback regarding on behalf of a participant. And first of all, in this regard, I want to thank my senior colleague who is presently working as a Chief Scientist Dryland Agriculture at Anantapur, Andhra Pradesh. He has only sent the flyer of this training program. Otherwise, I would have missed this great opportunity for attending this training program. And mostly, it is a great chance or opportunity to listen to the eminent speakers across the globe. And all the lectures are very informative, thought-provoking, and from the day 1 to day 10. All the lectures are very much informative, and we got to know the different aspects with regarding to the climate risk assessment, extreme weather events, and its impact on agriculture. And we had an energizing lecture from Dr. Geeta Lakshmi Madam regarding the agromet advisory services to minimize the weather in agriculture. I felt it is very useful for the field level functionaries, and also it is a great opportunity for listen to the legendary personalities like Professor Latar Katanlal sir regarding the management of agro ecosystems for extreme weather conditions. His lecture has sensitized the present day burning problem like the crop residue burning, and the panelists and the course directors, they have also very meticulously organized this question and answer sessions also. And finally, many of the times we are cursing the COVID-19 pandemic, but I feel that because of it, it has opened many kind of avenues for learning, I think. And since from the lockdown, I have attending many of the webinars, training programs which are conducted by NHEP. I strongly feel that this 10 days training program is something very much unique when compared to the rest of the programs which I have attended. And not only during this 10 days program, not only the registered participants, I use it to share the Facebook live streaming links and use YouTube links to my students, and they have also happened to listen to this different sessions. And I can see that most of our students are also get benefited by these sessions. And finally, I thank the course director and the co-course director, Siraz sir and Latif Ahmad sir. You both are organized this program very meticulously, very smoothly, because handling a gathering of 250 members of audience is not an easy task. From you both, we have learned to how to conduct a meeting, how to organize these people and all. And once again, I'm very fortunate to have this program, and we have learned so many things. Previously also, I have attended for many of the training programs and DSAT, Infocrop like that, and this is also very informative, and I have gained some kind of sensitization and knowledge through this particular training program. And in this particular context, I wish to thank all the organizers who are involved in this particular kind of training program. And thank you, and thank you one and all for giving me this opportunity also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ammaji, for your wonderful words, encouraging really. Thank you very much once again. If Dr. Khanda has joined us, please, Dr. Khanda, I would request to you for your feedback on this training program that you have been with us for last 10 days. So if Dr. Khanda has joined us.
Yes, please.
Yes, Dr. Khanda, am I audible?
Good evening, everybody. Respected DDZ.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Respected delegates, Honorable DDZ, Vice Chancellor of the Sierra Kashmir University, and Director FIDA, and fellow colleagues who are attending the training for the last 10 days. This was the international training. Truly, it was international in the sense experts who are from different parts of the globe. We have listened to people from USA, listened to people from Canada, from different international organizations like ICRISAT, ICADA, and the scientists from different parts of the India also the world. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of this international training program. 12 speakers were there. Almost all speakers were very good, excellent, very rightly chosen. So I must thank the organizers for selecting a very pertinent topic, relevant one, timely one, and the experts who are really expert in their field. So this was really very encouraging to all the participants and the fellow students who are also joined with us by different means. So I am thankful to the organizer. This kind of training should be organized at different level. We will try to have these kind of things at our university level also. Good speakers, as my earlier participant told, Professor Ratan Lal, the World Food Prize winner, and to name other few, Dr. K. Ramesh, the ex-DDG, then Madam from TNU, and the last speaker, Dr. Gatala, who is a friend of mine, was speaking on conservation agriculture. It was really excellent. We are working together, my colleague, when I was working in ERI. So this training, 10 days training program is really wonderful. I must congratulate the host, the course director, the co-director. They have taken a lot of pen and strength to make this visible, make this fruitful. It was flawless, I can say. So it has enriched our knowledge on the subject, and we could able to know what is going on various aspects of climate change and how agrometeorology will help this. So I'm thankful to one and all the members of the host university who are behind this, who has made it possible. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Khanda, for your nice encouraging words. Thank you so much. We have some participants from Pakistan, and at this juncture, we have selected Dr. Nimra Arain, who is from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshoro, Sindh, Pakistan. I will request her for a feedback of this training program, if I'm audible to her. Nimra Arain, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum to all the panelists and participants also. I totally show my gratitude to all the organizers for this training course that have informative for us and encouraging towards the research also. This training course actually opened our minds towards the agrometeorology and climate sciences in several other ways also. My precious gratitude to all the participants from all the around the world. All the respected speakers make this knowledge easy to us actually. As Dr. Subha Rao and provides a lots of data resources, and in a previous lecture, Dr. Naveen encouraged me to go for other sites like machine learning, so can handle climate change issues regarding the machine learning also. And at last, I would like to recommend to organize these training courses regarding the tool use of the advanced tool, so that we could do our research more effectively, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Latif. Thank you, Dr. Shiraz.
Thank you, Arain, for the wonderful words. Any drawback did you find, honestly speaking, and frankly speak to us, any drawback or any constant you could find during this training program?
No, sir. Actually, I have lot of knowledge from this. Actually,
okay.
When I'm doing my MPhil in applied mathematics, and my topic is related to drought analysis. So the information that I have before this section was very less amount. Now I have a lot of information about the climate sciences, agrometeorology, and I can go further works in this field also. I have a lot of information now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Arain, for joining this training program.
Thank you.
You have been with us continuously across the training program. Thank you once again. May I request Dr. Manish Deshmukh, who is from the Division of Agronomy, Dr. Panjab Rao Deshmukh, Krishi Vidya, Akola, Maharashtra. If I'm audible to Dr. Manish, please, for a feedback of this training program. Dr. Manish, am I audible?
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Manish. Dr. Manish, please.
Yeah. So good evening to all the respected panelists, the delegates and the organizers of this 10 days online international training program on climate risk assessment and its management through agrometeorological aspects, which was sponsored by the ICR NHEP and organized by DARS Kashmir. So at the outset, sir, I would like to opine that the topic of this webinar is very much relevant to the present day climatic scenario. Because as every corner of this earth is suffering from the climate associated weather vagaries, and every individual is in the dilemma regarding we can say that this climate and disaster risk management. So I think this is the high time to provide such advanced trainings and update the skills in the fields of agrometeorological aspects of these extreme events, and to harness the innovative strategies to cope with it. Thus, in my experience, decided earlier to organize it. Thus, in nutshell, on behalf of all the participants, I can say that the course content of this training program covered all the aspects related to its title. And secondly, all the renowned and eminent speakers, to name just a few of them, that is Professor Dr. Ratan Lal, Dr. Ramesh, Professor Naveen Karla, Dr. Geeta Lakshmi, Dr. Arish Patil, Dr. M.M. Rao, Dr. M.K. Gathala, and others, all have successfully provided a great insight into the subject matter of their expertise and helped to boost our interest and knowledge base, without which it was just impossible for any student to understand the topic so thoroughly. So another thing which I would like to mention here, that the organizers are succeeded in maintaining the discipline regarding the perfect timings of the daily schedule, then the daily notes, notices, and provision of the online course material in the form of PDFs, YouTube videos, Facebook live events, and so on. So for that, I must congratulate the organizers, especially the course director, Dr. Latif Ahmed, and the co-course director, Dr. Shiraz, who acted very professionally throughout this said training program. So on behalf of all the participants, I must appreciate their efforts to run this program very seamlessly. Besides the technical, the technical team and its members who work behind the curtain are also due to be highly appreciable. So at the end, I would like to thank the organizing committee for providing me and my fellow colleagues an opportunity to express our thoughts at this juncture. So I think all the participants are overwhelmed by joining this program, just like me. So overall, this training session stands much higher than its counterparts, which I ever experienced since this lockdown and unlock period. So once again, with extreme regards, I am very much thankful to you for providing me the opportunity to express my thoughts over this event. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Deshmukhji. I request any constant or drawback which you could notice during the 10 days.
Sure, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, speaking. Okay. Why I'm stressing, because see, Anika, it will lead to us further improvement. That's why any constant or any drawback which you could notice.
So I'm sorry to say that there was not a single drawback which I experienced ever. Because I have gone through many such trainings. But when you have the experience of organized more than 200 national trainings and more than 90 international trainings, so hats off to you. Very perfectly and professionally handled training program. Great, sir. I must
thank you.
I must, sir, congratulate your Vice Chancellor. Because he have the privilege of the professional team with him, and by the help of these professionals, your university is getting much name. Even at the ICR level, I think you are the first university which organized such a lot of number of programs. So the second number comes to Maharashtra University, I think. That is the Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapit, Rahuri from Parbani. Sorry, Dapur, Rahuri. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Deshmukhji. And more importantly, apart from our respected Vice Chancellor, is the principal investigator, Nahi Project Scost K, Dr. Nazir Ahmad Ganai, who's the force behind this. He's been always there for encouraging us, genuinely and honestly speaking. Has been there always, and his dedication towards his own work is really an inspirational factor for all the faculties of the Scost K. The way he's dealing with the things, the way he is leading the program, it's really inspirational for all of us. We have learned a lot of things from our director, sir, and also from our respected Vice Chancellor, who has been always there, and other directors and organizing coordinators of the Nahi project. Thank you very much, sir, for your nice feedback. From the local participants, may I request Ms. Danishta Aziz, the student faculty of agriculture, Scost K. If I'm audible to Danishta Aziz, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
Yes, we are audible. Kindly, please proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, PI Nahi, Dr. Nazir Ahmad Ganai, sir, respected organizers and fellow participants, good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I am Danishta Aziz, PhD scholar, Division of Entomology, Faculty of Agriculture, Coast Kashmir. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this training program for giving us an opportunity to participate in this training program. I would like to thank NAHIP of Coast Kashmir for providing us such a wonderful platform to gain advanced knowledge about climate change and its mitigation. The topic chosen was appropriate and need of the hour as it's a burning global issue. The timing of the program was so effectively scheduled as it doesn't hamper the daily routine work of participants.
Yes, Danishta, I think Danishta,
Sorry, I
think
lost the connection.
Yes, please continue.
I would like to thank the eminent speakers who, with their great expertise, covered all the nooks and corners of the theme of training program. The question and answer sessions were very interactive and interesting, and the study material provided was very useful. At last, I would feel pleasure in congratulating all the organizers, speakers, and participants for their effective coordination in making this training program very successful. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ms. Danishta Aziz, for your wonderful words. For other local participants, we have selected that's Ms. Nida Rafiq, who is representing the Faculty of Forestry, Coast of Kashmir. May I request Nida Rafiq for her feedback of this training program. If I am audible, Nida, are you there? Nida Rafiq, are you there? Okay,
yes, sir,
so
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir, I'm
Yes, Nida, please.
Yes, sir. Respected panelists and participants, Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all of you. Myself, Nida Rafiq, and I am from Faculty of Forestry. I am a PhD scholar. Here, I would like to say that the whole training program was very well organized, and each and every session of this training program was very informative, comprehensive, and I must say that it was thought-provoking. If I talk about the topics and the resource person selection, it was excellent, and I must say it was beyond expectations, really. Here, I'm greatly thankful to the organizing committee for such a wonderful training program, and I would like to give special thanks to Dr. Latif and Dr. Shiraz sir and other members for organizing such a wonderful training program for us. And I hope to get these kind of training programs in future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nida Rafiq, for the feedback you have given. Thank you very much. Well, this was all from the feedback. Proceeding ahead, I would request firstly from our guests of honor, our mentor, director, Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai, who is Director Planning and the Principal Investigator, National Agriculture Higher Education Project to West Kashmir for his address. Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai, sir, please.
Thank you, Shiraz. If I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We are very fortunate having the National Director of this program, National Agricultural Higher Education Program, and the DG Education, Dr. R.C. Agarwal with us. Sir, I understand the kind of the busy schedules you have with you, and it is very difficult to find time in his office whenever you are around because so many number of assignments are there. And then, sir, you have spared your time this evening to be with us to witness this valedictory function of this 10 days program. We are very, very thankful to you, sir. And we have with us the guest of honor, Dr. Maheshwari, Director Krida. And we have a very long list of the participants, some 226 are this time in this meeting room. So you can understand the kind of the enthusiasm these participants have over the last 10 days with the same number they would attend. So that speaks about the quality of this program and the kind of the the way the organizers have organized this program. So the organizers were there, Dr. Anwar, who is the head agronomy, Dr. Ladeeb, Dr. Shiraz, Dr. Rehana, Dr. Samira Qayyum. I personally compliment you all that you have been wonderfully organizing this program. Dr. Agarwal, sir, I believe that this was a kind of a sample, kind of a display of a training program in your presence, because ultimately we are rather accountable to the Indian Council of Agricultural Research for performance, because all of the institutions around the country who are part of this National Agricultural Higher Education Program, would have not been, there would have been a bigger blessing to us than being part of this program, especially during this COVID period, when everything was shut down. And then it provided us such a big opportunity, such a big window of not just continuing our efforts, those routine kind of efforts. We have gone extra mile through this NAHER program, not just having those routine kind of the programs, but then going to national to international. Sir, as Shiraz and Latif was saying that this is more than 200 such programs we have organized during this program. So almost daily we have 1 or 2 such programs happening since morning till evening. And so many number of meetings are happening. So I believe that this is firstly the credit or I don't have the words to thank the Indian Council of Agricultural Research on the one hand, and on the other hand, we have perfect faith in our able faculty who are organizing these programs. So I congratulate all of you. Dr. Agarwal Sarji, as I have said many times, that we had drawn a model of our IDP of this Coast Kashmir. We said that it has to be a spinning wheel of knowledge, which would connect the education research with innovation and entrepreneurship. So all our focus during the execution of this program is how do we just remain focused to our model of the education, higher education, which we have proposed under this program. Sir, in this program, with the support which you have given, we have also thought that we have to just be relevant to the modern times, to the times of the fourth industrial revolution, when it is driven by the advanced technologies. So in pursuit of that vision, we have built some facilities in our university under the program. It is one is on the Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning Center we have established, and the university has very kindly provided us a very big building to establish that center. We are renovating the center, and we have all the provisions under the program to equip that center. We are also establishing one innovation and innovation center under the program. We have strengthened 14 smart classrooms in the university. We are also establishing 6 virtual classrooms. The concept is that ours is a multi-campus university. Tomorrow, maybe there is one faculty at one campus. So we should be able to just engage all the faculties simultaneously. And fortunately, this COVID period has given us tremendous kind of experience in having these virtual programs. So we are also establishing 5 data analytics laboratories. We have 5 faculty each. We are also building 1 remote sensing and GIS laboratory. As said earlier, sir, we had thought that all the kind of improvements which we are bringing under NAHEP, and we had taken a challenge that how do we just generate that human resource from our university who are industry ready and who are self-reliant. So in order to have all the kind of those attributes of the students in reflected in the transcript, we had designed that next gen student transcript, and I'm pleased to say here that that transcript was approved by the academic council, and it was also approved by the board of management. And now it is to be placed before the university council, which is to be headed by the honorable lieutenant governor of the UT at some point of time. But then there has been a tremendous amount of kind of brainstorming on that transcript, and that would be really one thing what we can just share with our other colleagues. Sir, as I said that the innovation and entrepreneurship is the soul of, I believe, this whole of this NAHEP program, because we aim that our students should not be just continuing with that rote kind of a learning. They have to be more creative, more innovative, and for that we have to make them industry ready and self-reliant. So in pursuit of that, we have been conducting so many number of events on innovation and entrepreneurship, and in the process we have built an ideation bank of more than 100 ideas. And I'm pleased to say that this student startup, which was an unheard of something in our university, I may say. Nobody knew before what is this student startup. But I'm pleased to say that out of that ideation bank, 2 of our students have received this seed grant of rupees 25 lakh and 5 lakh each from some organization. And their programs their innovative ideas have been hailed very much. So we are also on the way of going for 2 more startups, and those would be the AI decision support systems. Those would be the first thing happening in our state. Let me also share with my colleagues here that our faculty have developed so many number of good technologies in the university. I was trying to see that which are the technologies which have the commercial value. And because we are working with IIT Kanpur, we have our grants under this program from IIT Kanpur, both one in artificial intelligence and another in innovation and incubation, Dr. Bandyopadhyay, sir. And I'm pleased to say that they have identified 6 or 7 such technologies which have tremendous commercial value. And we are requesting our Dr. Agarwal Sarji, and I have put up a proposal to National Coordinator, Dr. Ramasundaram, for submission to your kind good self, that support there so that we could upscale those technologies under the Waste to Wealth program. So this was just as a glimpse of what we have been doing. Otherwise, the progress report is quite a long one, but I have no words to thank the Indian Council for Agricultural Research, the project implementation unit headed by Dr. Agarwal sir, our national coordinator, Dr. Ramasundaram, and all the colleagues there in the finance. So we have received tremendous amount of support. Sir, this is something of a big thing happening for us. Under those difficult situations, when we had this slow internet connectivity of 2G, we have gone international, and in most of the programs, as we see here, we have a very good presence of the students from many countries around the world. And I believe that we are now more famous and more known to the universities across the country. And when we received applications, more than 50% of those applicants are from across the country. So that is the what we have achieved under this NAI program. And I believe it is a good thing for our student community, for our faculty who are learning during the process. Even if you have received so big comments from Manish Deshmukh and all others there, the way that we have been organizing this program, but then it has been a learning process for our faculty here, and now they have built the capacity to do these programs in this virtual mode of the international kind. So I congratulate all my faculty here. I wish that you should not just give a respite. You have a tremendous and a difficult path, because we have challenged ourselves that we are going to build the model higher education system of agriculture for the country, because we are also integrating with the industry. We are roping in the industry with us. I believe shortly we'll be having those sector-specific academia-industry interfaces, wherein we'll be taking a feedback from the industry to just trying to understand what are the requirements of the industry with respect to the skill sets our students should have, so that we will just accordingly update and modify our curriculum. Dr. Agarwal sir, I had also shared one document with you. It's about the parallelism of the National Agricultural Higher Education Program and the National Education Policy 2020. So I believe that it is my proud. I'm very happy to share with all of you.
এটা কেন বলে 20% ব্যাটারি দিলে এটা কি করা ভালো?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, continue.
Yeah. I was saying that we had drafted one document on parallelism between the NAHEP and the National Education Policy. We just went very keenly into the National Education Policy and tried to just map it with our program, the IDP Cost Kashmir under NAHEP. So I am very happy to say and rather proud to share with you that more than 80% of what the National Education Policy prescribes, we are already doing that thing. And on many accounts, ICR or this NAHEP program is ahead of the National Education Policy. So I would say that those compliments go to the policymakers in the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, who had come, I believe, very timely in just conceiving this program of building excellence in national education policy. I once again thank all my colleagues here who have been pivotal in organizing such programs and who have been pivotal in building the strength and the confidence of our students, in building the confidence of our faculty, and also in bringing a fame to our university. I also thank my Honorable Vice Chancellor who couldn't attend this program this time. Maybe he is busy somewhere. So I thank all. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nazir, for your wonderful words and complimenting us all the time, and importantly, believing in us for organizing such a wonderful programs at global level. Thank you very much, sir, once again. May I now request Professor M. Maheshwari, Director ICR Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture, for his address. Professor M. Maheshwari, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, quite audible. Thank you.
Most respected Professor R.C. Agarwal, Deputy Director General Education, ICR, and also the National Director of the NAHEP program. Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai, Director Planning and PI of NAHEP and the patron of this training program, and Dr. Latif Ahmed and Dr. Syed Shiraz Mahdi, sir, and Dr. Samira Kayum, and also in my first I would like to acknowledge our gratitude to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Dr. Mushtaq Ahmad in absentia, and Dr. M. Anwar Bhatt, Professor and Head Division of Agronomy. On behalf of CREDA, I feel very thankful to you for inviting me to be a guest of honor in this program.
Thank you.
And as I can see that the very title itself, from the very title itself, we understand the climate risk assessment and its management. Both are very important. And of course, through agrometeorological approaches, we know the importance of the various agrometeorological approaches. When we talk of climate change, as you all know, it is a long-term process. However, mostly we are talking about the anthropogenic effects of effects because which are interfering in the normal cycle, and we are not talking of the long term, centuries or centuries, which take the natural climate change. However, more important, more essential to note are those weather vagaries or weather variations or so-called extreme events which are occurring in the current climate variability. So I think, I'm sure in that context, climate risk assessment is very, very important. And since last nearly an hour, I am listening to the various speakers, and it is very hard that that course has been very systematically conducted, and the very presence, the gracious presence and talk of Professor Ratanlal, I'm sure it would have definitely added to amongst the other important speakers whom you have selected, like for example, Dr. K.J. Ramesh of former IMD Director General and so on. Several other important speakers are there. So I'm sure it would have added to the participants' enhancement of knowledge. As it is there, as I can see that about even now 200 odd participants are here. I'm sure, as mentioned, there were many from the various countries also. I think, we all know very well that climate, I'm sure that during the course of your various sessions, you would have definitely discussed on the kind of important aspects which are happening in the climate change or, climate variability. As per the IPCC report, which says that, the number of cold days and nights have, actually decreased, and the number of warm days and nights have increased globally. It also says that heat waves has increased, and, glaciers are continuing to shrink globally, and sea level rise, it is a sea level rise of 0.19 meter is there in the last century nearly. So these are some of the negative impacts are there on the crop growth and all. And if you take in our own country also, we in India itself, the warming of the climate is very much evident, and increase in the maximum and minimum temperature is there, which we can see very clearly, and decrease in the annual rainfall and number of heavy rainfall events, and this is very, very important aspect. Now, based on these things, actually, if we look at it, that the rainfall variability or frequency of El Nino and droughts is continuously increasing, and we can see that the extreme events are definitely increasing. So to cope with all these aspects, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research and the Government of India have launched several programs, and we all know very well that there are many programs which are ongoing, like for National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, or Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, Mission on Oilseed and Oil Palm, and so on.
Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am. Your mic has been
Oh,
muted
I'm
because
sorry.
of some distance. Yes. Continue, please.
Is it unmuted now?
Yes.
Is it
Quite
unmuted?
audible.
Am I audible? Yeah. So I'm
Yes,
sorry.
quite audible.
And so I was just mentioning that recognizing the importance of climate change and variability in the government, in our government of India, as well as because there are various participants, delegates from across the globe are present in this particular session, in this particular training program. I would like to mention that there are, like for example, the National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, or Mission Integrated Development of Horticulture, and the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, or Pradhan Mantri the Fasal Bima Yojana, which is more related to climate change risks or climate variability risks and so on. In the Indian Council of Agriculture Research also in 2011, there is one program which you all, many of you may be aware, the National Innovations on Climate Resilient Agriculture, which is being implemented across the country. And in this, both the strategic research, I'm very happy that you mentioned, Dr. Latif mentioned about the importance of medium range forecasting, and also he mentioned about the micro level forecast. So some of these aspects are being actually especially the block level, the block level agro advisories and forecasting and things like that. These are being actually the weather forecast, of course, is the IMD subject, Indian Meteorological Department, but the agro advisories based on this, and having a block level units and also modules for agro advisories. This is being done, as you all are very well aware, the agro by the All India project of the ACRIP project on agrometeorology, All India Coordinated Research Project on agrometeorology. I'm sure all of you are definitely recognizing that the climate change is not only a biophysical aspect, but it involves actually a lot of socioeconomic aspects and livelihood aspects. So coping with it, coping with the climate change also would involve, importantly, participatory approach. It's very important that participatory approach is to there at the farmers level, so that we take the in a farmer participatory mode, we implement the various programs and go for the demonstration of those technologies which are there. So in some of these aspects, and also about the district agricultural contingency plans, there was a mention by Dr. Latif. So these we are also concentrating on dynamic, making them more dynamic, because these contingency plans are not continuously, changing with the weather variability as well as the availability of seed and so on and so forth. Another important, of course, that whatever changes could be there due to the weather variability, the change in production levels, or the reduction in the yields and forecasted or modeled. But we are able to, till now, whether it is rice or wheat, because of the adaptation, the strategies of adaptation, we are able to still go on increasing the production levels. We know another important aspect as far as the northern hills or the Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh is concerned. Another important aspect is of the apple, the reduction in the chilling hours, because of which the apple actually is moving more and more towards higher altitudes. So these are some of the aspects of climate change and climate variability. So I congratulate to have to organize that this such a important aspect is being has been addressed, and you have organized, as I can see from the feedback, it is a very, very successful program, and we are very thankful to the university to have organized such a very important program, timely, and also because we are seeing that a lot of climate variability is there. So in the event of climate variability, how to cope with that. So agrometeorological aspects and then the advisories are very, very important and crucial, which will help the the farming community, the agricultural production, because the agriculture contributes in an important way, in a significant way, to the GDP of the country. So it's very, very important that we address some of these issues, and I congratulate each one of you, and I also extend my sincere thanks to Professor Gyani and Professor Shiaz sir and Dr. Latif and all the others, along with, of course, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, for having this successful program. I thank each one of you, and I congratulate all the participants. Have a very, very good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor M. Maheshwari, Director ICR CRIDA, for being with us and for your words of wisdom. Thank you once again for joining us in this valedictory session, and accepting our invitation to join this important evaluatory session of this training program. Thank you very much. Well, moving to our next segment, before I would request our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor R.C. for his valedictory address. We'll be having the release of a training manual, and I would request our technical staff, Wais Alivani, to kindly display the front page and the content of the training manual that we have been prepared. If you can, and I would request to all the guests of the panel to be the part of this release, and we'll be emailing this training manual along with the certificates to all the participants who have successfully completed this 10 days online international program. Yes, scroll it down slowly, Wes. This includes almost 77 pages comprising of chapters, write-up from all the eminent speakers who have been very kind to contribute the write-up. And very thankful to Dr. Latif, Dr. Samira Koyum, and our director Nazir Ahmed Ganai for being the editor of the training manual. Coming to its content, always, if you can show us. This is the content where we have all the chapters, all the lectures covered in this training manual from all the eminent speakers across the globe. Consists of almost 12 chapters. You can scroll it up. Apart from impacts of the extreme weather events and particularly the management of those agroclimatic risks. So thank you very much, Uwais, for sharing the front page and the content of this important training manual that we'll be emailing to all the participants along with the certificate. Thank you very much. And this is the certificate that we have designed just for a formal approval. Same certificate for all the successful participants, registered participants, will be emailed also along with the training manual. So thank you, Uwais, for sharing the training manual and the certificate with all the participants, our guests. And let me take this opportunity, and I feel really privileged and honored to invite our chief guest of this very important session, Professor R.C. Agarwal, who is Deputy Director General Education, ICR, and National Director, NAHIP. Professor R.C. Agarwal Saab, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shiraz.
Thank you, sir,
for this opportunity. Thanks to Dr. Latif, Dr. Nazir Ahmed, Professor Muhammad Anwar, and all others, and especially the guest of honor, Professor Maheshwari, who is a noted figure in this from TIDA in this climate resilient related issues. So thank you, madam, for joining today for this important event of under NEHEP. We are missing your new Vice Chancellor. So anyway, we can you can convey the message to him. We are missing his presence. Otherwise, we could have got his words of wisdom also during this valedictory function. First, congratulate each one of you. As I could know from the from the feedback of the participants. It's a wonderfully organized program. There was no single complaint, no suggestion, which was surprising to me by any participant. So it's absolutely a successful program, not even a single complaint or single suggestion. So that means it was a well-organized program. And that is the beauty, that is the new normal we are adopting under NEHEP. As it has been told, under NEHEP, we are taking a lot of new steps and a lot of out-of-box thinking also we have taken now. One example is just this could not have been in the physical meetings to invite so many participants.
Exactly.
It was absolutely no problem. Even if you want to call one person from abroad, you have to undergo so many approvals from Ministry of External Affairs, the visa issue, this issue, that issue. Here, absolutely no problem. And any guest speaker you can invite from anywhere within no time, and they can connect. And it is as effective as having physical presence of those persons.
Yes.
So that is the new thing. Just days back, somebody was asking, sir, once this COVID period is over, are we going to discontinue this virtual mode? I don't know. Now it has become a normal thing. So this may continue even if the situation is normalizing, because this is the new normal now. Because people have become so comfortable with this that in one day, I can tell you that even in one single day, we can attend 6 to 7 meetings, and all meetings physically. Otherwise, it was not possible to attend those meetings. So one meeting I am attending with NARM, one meeting attending with the Rome, one meeting attending with the, our headquarters minister in the same day, which otherwise is not possible, because once you go to Hyderabad, you cannot attend in the physical mode the meeting with minister, or you can attend with the Rome or somebody else. So that has really increased the efficiency. That has really increased transparency. Everything is recorded in these meetings. Automatically, these are recorded, and you can anytime can listen to what has happened. So you need not be things, and many things have really come out. Now, before this lockdown, before this Corona period, we were trying to introduce this virtual mode, but people were not ready to accept this. So this cannot be effective. So the first meeting I could organize was the Vice Chancellor's meeting. And that was probably the first meeting in the whole ICR system. That was just in the month of March, immediately after the lockdown. And I got the calls from almost all the Vice Chancellors. That's so effective that you please discontinue the physical meeting of the Vice Chancellors. I told, yes, we will continue, but physical has their own advantages. We cannot totally discontinue. You have a lot of socialization, you have meetings, you can have facial expressions, and many things, but certainly they can be minimized. So in cost and other things, we could have not more than one Vice Chancellor, but every month I am having at least 3 to 4 Vice Chancellors. Everything, whenever new education policy I wanted to discuss, I immediately called. Within no time, every Vice Chancellor participated. So that's really a good thing. And one of the examples I've seen today, the number of participants which we have, the feedback which we have got, the kind of speakers, you could even connect Professor Ratanlal. I've heard 2 times after he got this award, we invited him in PAU, we invited him in NAM. And you have also invited in Sher-e-Kashmir University. And the kind of knowledge you can get from him, even if he is speaking for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, he will give a lot of input to you. How you can have the conservation of the soil microorganisms, many things. He is the storehouse of knowledge. So connecting him with the participants, I think that's really something great. You have taken care. Now, friends, I'm not a subject matter specialist of this climate smart agriculture or this whatever you have chosen for this climate risk management. But I know the importance of this. This is really very important. And seeing this importance only, we have kept at least 16 Center of Advanced Agriculture Technologies through NAHIP, 16 centers. And one of those also includes the conservation agriculture, that is in BCKB. And one includes, of course, the market intelligence. And I find market intelligence becomes a little more complicated if you see the risks of the climate, because producing and predicting and forecasting the market values of different products really is also dependent upon this climate risks, which farmers has to be supported. And as we know, this this climate risk management, it's not a depending upon the single discipline. It's a multidisciplinary activity. I was just reading an article 2 days back. There is a super model for prediction of this COVID-19 pandemic. And they say that by the February, it will be at its minimum level. So this cannot be done by a single person. So there was a team of computer scientists, there was a team of medical doctors, there was a team of mathematicians, and many persons. So similarly, in this climate risk management, we have to depend upon the computer scientists, we have to depend upon this dryland agriculture scientists, we have to depend upon meteorological scientists, I can say soil experts. So all the experts have to really support this. And that's what I think in this training program, you have taken care. You have involved almost persons from all, as I could see, persons. They are not only from the agronomy, but I think from other disciplines also you have taken. So you have taken this multidisciplinary approach. That's what is required. And we have to just see that how best we can take advantage. This training program is not the end of your knowledge. This is the beginning of your knowledge. So just be connected to each other. Just see how best you can have this this platform in a network mode, so that in the future, this particular platform of 250 persons who have been trained, they can really deliver the things, because alone one person cannot do anything. So how best you can take advantage of this particular group which we have created. I think that's really will be really very useful. Now, if you see the NEHEP contribution during this pandemic itself, we could conduct 1,000 plus in this 6 months, 1,000 plus training programs, and we have a target of we had a target of around 53,000 persons to be trained up to November, and we have crossed around 55,000. Overall, in NEHEP, we have to benefit around 94,000 persons, which I am sure will be more than 1 lakh. We will cross around 1.5 lakhs by the end of this project. So that could happen because of the universities like Sher-e-Kashmir University. That could happen because of the MPKV. Almost you name Pantnagar University, if you see, daily they are conducting one addressing the many latest issues and other things. So that's really something very important, which has come through this NAHEP. Now, if you see the importance of this particular thing, I can just quote the some data from the 2007. If you see the weather-related natural disasters, how it's increasing, why it becomes so important, the topic which we have chosen. And you can just find that they have tripled. This weather-based natural disasters have tripled from 1960. And if you see the 14 out of 15 appeals for the emergency humanitarian assistance world over. 14 out of 15. So they were just based on this weather list, and they were including these floods, droughts, and storms. So that's really required. The importance is too much. And if you see its impact on the agriculture for the farmers, farmers know what are the risks, what are the challenges. So the farmers know the uncertainty, the risks which you can predict, but the uncertainties you cannot predict. This COVID, nobody could predict. It was the uncertainty. But the risks are linked with the probabilities. You can find out what are the probable chances for getting those risks. So the farmers know the risks and uncertainty, these uncertainties, but they have to extend and understand the risks, and they have to be supported with a lot of other models, how best they can be helped not only for mitigating all the challenges, but also to help them, to suggest them, to support them for various kind of new technologies, that what kind of seed now they should have. This seed has to be developed afresh, keeping in mind all kind of stresses. But then we have to go to the farmers, tell them that, okay, these are the new things which you have to adopt. These are the new technologies which they can have their field. Now, this also can be linked, your topic can be also linked with the crop insurance, I think. Now, the policies of the government, how it can be linked with the crop insurance. Because crop insurance greatly affect and greatly depend upon this risk management, climate risk management. So that also, I hope you must have covered. One of our institute, Indian Agricultural Statistics Institute, has taken a project for crop insurance, in this Prime Minister's crop insurance forecast and related issues. So that also can be supported through this project, through this network which you have developed now. And there are many other things for the agriculture, for the farmers, especially if you see the invasive weeds which are going to come because of this change. The productivity is coming down, and many things because of this temperature is just becoming uncertain. We do not know what kind of things are going to come. You have already predicted, you have already informed in your introductory remarks that you have addressed some issues like food wastage, and you have suggested the location-specific research. I think they are really worth appreciating such topics. So overall, I can say it is the great initiative by you, and I think this will be very useful. And my best wishes to continue all these things. One thing I can just tell that we are, I think just last week I had a meeting of National Steering Committee. National Steering Committee is the apex body of this NAHEP. We have other committees also. So that in that meeting I took certain agenda, and I'm the member secretary of that. One of the agenda we took is that whether we can ask our all universities to come out with some innovative ideas for waste to wealth kind of proposals, because the waste is always location specific. If you go to the south, the waste is your coconut, whether it's a coconut coir, coconut shell, or water, or many kind of things from the coconut. If you go to north, you will have a lot of flowers coming out from the temples. That also affects your climate. Okay, if you are just throwing it with the other kind of garbage, I think it is hazardous for the environment, for the climate. So if you go to Punjab and other nearby states, the waste is nowadays your parali. So how we can come out with the new kind of solutions for that. So I'm going to invite now applications from the universities for coming out for these new ideas so that we can financially support for those ideas for waste to wealth. I know few universities, they have already taken such steps. And one of the plant was recently launched by our Honorable Prime Minister in Samastipur, in Central Agricultural University, Samastipur, Bihar. That's wonderful. So they are collecting the flowers from all the temples and making the compost and earning around 15 lakh rupees from that compost. They are selling it in the open market. So, and it's a living fund kind of thing. So they are not investing anything now. It's on the salary of staff engaged in this is all coming. Similarly, I have seen many other universities which already have some kind of thing at a very small level. We are also proposing under NEHEP that universities should have this paper recycling machine, so that whatever paper is wasted, you should not always give it to the vendors as a raddi. So what we have to do is we have to process and use the recycled paper, and it's a very cheap plant. It's hardly 10 to 12 lakh rupees it costs. So how best we can take advantage of all those things, so that our climate, our environment is not affected much. We can have less CO2 emissions by using all these things. Another latest innovation, the out-of-box thinking which we did was, I think you all must have got the invitation for that, was the hackathon, conduct of hackathon. And I'm happy to share with you, we could extend the date up to, I think, September 12 and October 12. We have received around 800 applications. 800 teams have applied for hackathon. One team consists of 4 persons. It consists of one professor, one faculty can be included, one startup, 1 or 2 students. So like that, 800 means it is 3,200 persons who have applied for this. And those teams includes the persons from IITs, IIMs, includes from many traditional universities, agricultural universities. So we have opened widely for this, for inviting these suggestions, for inviting the new kind can be especially used for the women farmers. So we have been asked by the Honorable Prime Minister to have 2 hackathons in a year. So this is our first hackathon. And we are thinking that we have sent a proposal to Prime Minister to give away the prizes in the month of December for the first, second, and third. The first prize is 5 lakh rupees. So that is the kind of thing now we have come out. I have already instructed my entire SMD, Education Division, that please stop the complete paperwork. No paperwork. All the things should come online. Whether application for the emeritus scientist, NISA professor, or it's the application for niche area, it is application for any kind of accreditation, ranking, whatever comes, all online, no physical, so that we can save at least a lot of paper that has ultimately effect on your climate. And I'm happy to inform you that now almost 100% we are having the electronic work online, and no paperwork in the education division. So that could happen because of this NEHEP. From NEHEP, we supported the education division, and we just took a challenge that we will have all these things in the online mode. Then if you see the linkage with the climate, again, a new initiative we have taken. And I think the Sher-e-Kashmir University also must have received a letter from us. We have recently asked the invitations for the Green and Clean Campus Award. And we have capped 10 lakh rupees as the first prize. For that also, we have extended the date. Just yesterday, I approved the date. So that the universities are prompted to have a lot of initiatives towards the towards keeping the campuses green. There are more than 60 parameters related to the environment, which are being recorded online. Again, it's an online application. And all those things will really prompt universities, will have a motivational factor in the universities to think on all those parameters, how you are recycling the water, how much electronic vehicles you have got within the campus, whether you are using cycles within the campus, how you are having all those things which are least affecting the environment. Many things are there. And NAHEP, I think, is the first project which I can remember, where there is an inbuilt mechanism of two components which we regularly monitor, which I don't find is there in any other project. One is the environmental factor, and another is the social equity plan. Okay. This ESS, environmental safety, our all schemes and other plans, regularly we monitor. We have a set of parameters on which we just say, even if you have to make a small construction, we will ask you what is the labor management plan. We first teach every scientist who is involved with this particular thing, NAHEP, that how to take care of different kind of things, how to take care of environmental act, how to take care of labor management plans, how to take care of other social equity plans. So that after this project is over, this comes into practice in the university. How you have to dispose of this biological waste, how you have to dispose of other kind of waste. It's not that you throw it, then we will not certify, we will not release the money if we are not following the those guidelines. So that ultimately we are contributing towards the environment, safety of the environment, and safety of this other factors related to this environment and the social equity plans. So that's really something great. And I'm happy to inform all the participants here that the kind of progress which we have made in the last 1 year, the project was reviewed, there was a midterm review of the project by the World Bank just last month. This was about for 3 days by 12 consultants from the Washington, and the project was highly appreciated. It was appreciated up to that level that they just told that it is now amongst the top performers of the World Bank. So whatever projects are running in the World Bank, it has reached up to the level of the top performers. That could happen because of the support, because of the dedication of all our PIs, all our NAHEP teams. We have 58 teams now. Recently, the new initiative which we took was the launch of Krishi Megh. You know, Krishi Megh was launched by our Honorable Agriculture Minister with the two other ministers. And that is the cloud computing environment now we want to have for the artificial intelligence, for keeping the backup of all the things at 2 centers, so that in case there is some natural disaster at one particular place, we have the backup at another center. So now there are 2 data centers, one at New Delhi and another at Hyderabad in Nav. So that's what we could think, that we cannot lose the data. If something happens, if some natural thing comes, we cannot lose our all electronic data. But then I just instructed, please have the provisions for every other thing. Have the provisions for image processing, have the provisions for artificial intelligence, have the provisions for GPU servers, many other things now we have inculcated. Then you can also take advantage of this climate risk management through that particular platform. And you can just come out with some proposals if you really want to take advantage of that cloud computing. We are just 2 days back, I reviewed the progress of that particular thing, how we are coming out with this smart classes. 18 smart classes we are establishing in different universities. That will be really one of the state-of-the-art technology, which I have seen. And that will again help in having these online classes. on a regular basis. So whenever you want to take classes through those smart classes, automatically there will be a lot of other facilities related to that. They can be recorded, they can be edited, they can be recast, they can be broadcast, and many other universities. So that's something like a radio station. That's really something very great we are going to establish through this. And then we will also have the learning management system for all the universities. Already we have established around the academic management system in around 55 universities across our NARS system. And that also is helping the universities to take care of end to end, from registration till the degree is awarded to a student. Everything is recorded in the electronic format, so that the teachers need not to put their efforts to keep record of everything. So whatever you want to record, it's all available online within the universities. And that's a quantum jump. About 4 months back, the number was 22. So only 22 universities established this academic management system. But today the figure is more than 50, it's around 55. So that's again really something great. And I think that again is possible only because of the support of all the universities which we could have. And a lot of other things now we are coming out. I'm not going to narrate all those things here, but I would like to just compliment again to each one of you and for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. It was a great learning for me. And I think together we can all achieve more. I always believe in teamwork. So I think today you have created a new team for this climate risk management that will go a long way. So my compliments to each one of you, and thank you once again for giving me these opportunities, and all the best. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Professor R.C. Agarwal, for your nice words. Any comment from Professor Nazir Sahab to this? What Professor Nazir, if you want any comments, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much. We heard our DDG Education speaking at length press and telling us about new initiatives the ICR is taking. And I believe, that all must take note of that and see that how can we rope in ourselves in those new programs. And as said that they are going to just have this green campus certification and award. We are trying to just build our document on that. And Dr. Samira and our head of environmental sciences, Dr. Shaukat Ara, they are working on that document. And we are also part of the National Agricultural Higher Education component to about leadership. So, sir, thank you very much for sharing your experiences and a lot of the initiatives which you are taking at ICR level and supporting us and then helping us build our confidence and building our competence and then moving through. And our university has been consistently at second and third position as far as the GRF position is concerned. And the results for this year have not yet come. So we just stay fingers crossed, see that how do our students would perform this year when we had lots and lots of.
In just 2-3 days, you will get the result.
Okay, thank you, sir. And we hope, sir, we should improve our ranking despite the kind of the situations we were having, because we tried, our faculty tried our level best.
Ranking also now, we have done online now.
Yes, sir.
We are doing everything online. So, transparent, everything, whatever you will score, we will put on the website.
Yes, sir. Our Dr. Samira, who would be just giving the vote of thanks, and she has prepared that document. And the other documents also we are preparing. Sir, you were also talking about that waste management, waste to wealth, and because this weeds which we extract from the Dal Lake, which you must have seen, it is infested with lots of weeds. It has become a very, very big issue for the government, and the government is pumping a lot of money into that lake to clear those weeds, and that has become a mess for us. And then some very good technologies have come up, and then we have put up the concept note to Dr. Ramasundaram, and he will be putting up to you. I hope that it is through. Sir, we thank you again on behalf of the university and on behalf of all the participants here, and on behalf of my faculty, on behalf of the organizers. Thank you very much, and then you please, Shiraz, proceed further.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Nazir. And I must thank to our chief guest of the session, Professor R.C. Agarwal, for the wonderful words, particularly that he has mentioned in his introductory remarks that natural disasters has tripled almost, and CO2 level as per the NOAA data has increased almost 450 ppm as per the present scenario. And then from the presentation of Dr. Professor Ratan Lal, that he has made a lot of emphasis on the carbon budgeting at the micro level, and then inclusion of the conservation agricultural practices at the micro level, at the farm level, then to the state and national level. And then other thing is that hackathon, then no paperwork, green and clean campus award, and appreciation to the NIPE project at the global level were really praiseworthy, sir. Thank you once again for joining us and making this session successful, sir. Thank you very much. Now, in the end, I would request Dr. Samira Qayyum. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to request Dr. Samira Qayyum, Associate Professor, who is also the co-convener of this training program, for the vote of thanks. Professor Samira Qayyum, please. And one important thing I could not notice, I can see the Professor AVM Subarao, who has been with us during the entire session. I welcome him, sir. I could not notice in the early session, but I can see he has joined already, apart from the Professor Rihanna and other important guests. I welcome them all, and thanks a lot for being with us during this entire session. Yes, Professor Samira, please, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shiraz. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to all of you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have joined us today, as well as those dignified global speakers down the line since October 21 who took pains to deliver lectures during these unprecedented conditions. First of all, I should thank our highly dignified chief guest of today's program, Dr. R.C. Agarwal, who is DDG Education as well as National Director for NAHEP, who is with us today evening. Sir, I, on behalf of Scotts Kashmir, Dryland Agriculture Research Station, as well as Agromet Field Unit, extend my sincere thanks to your good self for joining us today. Sir, in addition of being in charge Agromet, I'm also the nodal officer for ICR Education, and on behalf of Nodal Cell also I want to thank you for just joining us today. Sir, through this platform, I take this opportunity to inform your good self that I have been nodal officer for the last 4.5 years, and not a single incident was there when our problems have not been addressed by ICR Education. In this regard, I want to thank you as well as your team who are always very enthusiastic in addressing the problems of all the universities. And also, I just want to thank you once again for your august presence here today. I extend my sincere thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor and our beloved teacher, Professor Mushtaq Ahmed, who because of some preoccupations couldn't join us today, but we with whole heart and high regards thank him and acknowledge his support and encouragement, which has of course led a candle of enthusiasm in us, and we shall strive more and more in future towards new developments. Yeah. Thanks to our guests of honor, Professor M. Maheshwari ma'am, who is Director ICR CREDA, for joining us today and giving us an insight into the future prospects and valuable experiences as well. And also a special mention of our guest of honor, Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai, our Director of Planning and PI NAHCP, who has in fact given wings to all of us to fly up into the skies, of course, as per our capabilities. Sir, it's worthwhile to mention here that all the developments, especially the human resource development, has been possible by NAHCP, given by ICR, and fully implemented with the high spirit of our worthy Director of Planning, Professor Nazir Ahmed. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the seniors who are here with us, especially our head agronomy division, Professor Muhammad Anwar Bhatt, and the co-convener of this training program, who is always ready to help us. Thanks to our senior faculty present here, especially our beloved Professor Rehana ma'am, Dr. Ashik, Dr. Ishfaq Abdi, and others who in one way or another always help us to carry on these assignments very smoothly. A very big and heartfelt gratitude to all the participants who have been with us for 10 days. There might have been a number of mistakes or lack in the whole process, but to err is human, and I hope that we will be forgiven for our mistakes made unintentionally during the whole period by our respected participants. Thanks are due to the whole organizing team, including Dr. Latif, Dr. Shiraz, and our beloved students and scholars, especially Muhammad Salim and Mr. Uwais Ali, who carried on the virtual training program without any fatigue. I once again thank all of you for being here with us, and also those who have been associated with the training program, directly or indirectly, and hope to have more interactions in future as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Samira, for the vote of thanks. Now, before we'll end this session, let me have a group photograph with our all guests who have joined us in this valedictory session. May I request Uwais to take a group photograph, and I request all the participants, panelists, to open up their cameras for a last group photo. Audible.
Shiraz is missing somewhere.
No, actually, sir, there is some connectivity issue, sir.
Okay, yeah, no.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay. Always, let's have a group photograph.
Yeah, sir. We're already doing it.
Okay. I request all the participants, panelists, to open up the cameras so that we can have a last group photograph. There is some connectivity issue from my end, which I don't understand, although
Majority of us are on 2G, so therefore, I don't know how it is still happening.
Yes, sir. It never happened for last 10 days, sir, but this time it's happening.
Oh, not an issue.
Yeah. Strange.
This is okay.
Okay, Uwais, if
Sir, sir, I will request Latif sir also take some shots because.
We are done with
Okay.
photographs, Dr.
Ah,
Shiraz.
thank you very much, sir.
Okay, already done?
Oh, yeah, sir.
Okay, so thank you all. Thank you the guests. Once again, Professor Agarwal Sahab, Professor M. Maheshwari, Professor Nazir Sahab, Professor Anwar Sahab, Dr. Samira Koyum, Dr. Rihana, all the participants and other important guests for making this training program a grand success. I thank you once again to one and all with this information that PowerPoint presentations of all the eminent speakers, which we have been sharing continuously on YouTube and Facebook channels. So nevertheless, we'll again email the training course material along with the training manual and the e-certificates. So thank you all and have a nice time ahead.
Shiraz and Latif, I forgot to just tell you, we have made it a point that for every good program, we want to just end up with a kind of edited book because you have all those international experts and speakers here. So you have a lot of information and a lot of literature on this very particular and important topic. So it would be an outcome of this training program that you put extra efforts that we are ultimately able to just bring about an edited book on climate change.
We have already picked up the
Yes,
issue.
sir. Yes, sir.
Very good.
Already the matter has been sent to the Springer, sir. So we'll be having yes, sir, two books. In fact, one on the secondary agriculture that we ended just a week before, sir.
Yes.
And then on the climate risk management, sir.
सर अग्रवाल सर जी ये आपको सर हम अपनी तरफ से बता रहे हैं कि for every program we are going to have almost for big programs we are going to have these books published by very prominent
my request is please upload all these on the website. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And also
all the
upload
lectures
on
and all the presentations.
NAHEP website also you can link.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, sir? I want to say something.
Yes, Professor Rihana, please.
I am Dr. Nimra from Pakistan.
Okay, Dr. Nimra, please. Yes.
It's a suggestion from my side कि आप लोग इस चीज़ का बहुत ध्यान रखें ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के थ्रू स्टूडेंट्स का मेंटल स्ट्रेस जो है वो इंक्रीज हुआ है क्योंकि सब स्टूडेंट्स को अगर वो आउटसाइडर हैं यूनिवर्सिटी के और उनको नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम्स हैं तो इस तरह से इनका मेंटल स्ट्रेस जो है बहुत इंक्रीज हुआ है जिसपे हम खुद मैथमेटिकल स्टडी भी कर रहे हैं अपने यूनिवर्सिटी में तो इस चीज़ को सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस दी जाए तो बेहतर होगी डॉक्टर AC अग्रवाल ने बहुत अच्छा दिया है कि मतलब all the universities are taking online classes but it has been easing the mental stress of the students also and the teachers also who are contributing their
we are adopting a hybrid model.
Sir, our programs are so engaging.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nirma, our are so engaging that our students, if it will be too stressful for the students, you won't find a very big gathering and then you won't see that all the participants are hooked us for 10 days. Of course, it is a little bit stressful to them, but then we take care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm not telling to the. First time I am in international level. I am taking this workshop.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you to all, sir. Thank you to all.
Thank you all.
Dr. Rihana, you were saying something, sir. Sir, last words from Dr. Rihana. I believe she was.
Dr. Rihana, please.
Esteemed dignitaries, especially our DDG Education, we are very honored to have him here. And the dynamic personality, Dr. Nazir Ganai, under which these programs have progress leaps and bounds. I was just saying that we do have off and on stress management courses for our students, motivation courses we are, and for faculty also we are in between doing the stress management courses for them. So that is it. And Dr. Agarwal sir, I would like to say that about from waste to this. I was a program coordinator in KVK Srinagar and my campus was in a military area under the old airport at the new airport, and the officer in command over there had three problems he consulted when he saw that a Krishi Vigyan Kendra is there. So they contacted us for landscaping of their whole campus. And then again, they had dog problem. So for dog problem, he wanted to have sterilization and all. But then we told him that we will convert your waste, all the mass waste. There are at least 100 masses over there. Jacklai was there, this airfield, Air Force masses and all. So we converted there all the mass waste into organic waste, into organic compost, and they sell it and they use it for their own orchards they are having. And then when there was flood in 2014, the main campus of Batwara, all that officers shifted into this campus, and they appreciated, and we have that. Then they had called His Excellency Vohra Saab there for a function, and he was impressed by the landscaping as well as the conversion of all the organic waste of this waste, mass waste. All, there was no litter at all in that campus. So we, Shalimar University has Shalimar microbes. There are which work in the sub-zero temperatures, and because of them we're able to convert it into. So there are success stories, and I am taking up for the Vadura campus the conversion of all the mass waste and all the campus waste into organics. So we are at it through NAHEP also. So we'll by this spring we'll be having a success story of that, sir. And I thank you for providing us so much of assistance and so much of help and sponsorship through NAHEP. And we're very proud that we have got this project, and we are trying to do our level best to make it the best one, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I congratulate Dr. Latif, Dr. Shiraz, Dr. Samira, and all others who were directly or indirectly organizing this training. And it was a very successful one. Live streaming was there on Facebook, videos are uploaded, and full media coverage, and the enthusiasm of all participants was evident. And the program, as per the feedback also, it was excellent, and the topic and the lectures were excellent, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
I take your leave. Anna. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Rihanna, and thanks to yes, thank you all once again, and we shall be ending the session now.
Okay, congratulations, Syed and Latif, once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Latif and Dr.
We shall
Shiraz.
Thank you. Thank you. We shall be in great touch with all the participants, and information material like our director sir has suggested that the write-up of the manual should come in the form of book. That already the matter has been taken with the Springer. So, but with the Springer, it takes time to publish a book. But training manual and the e-certificates along with the presentation will be sharing via email. And already it was, every lecture is uploaded on the Facebook and YouTube channel. So kindly go through those all materials for the upgradation of the knowledge. There were some important lectures, topics covered during this entire training program. And we thank you all for being with us for the last 10 days continuously. The energy and zeal which all participants has shown is really praiseworthy. And I thank one and all in the end, and stay safe, blessed, happy, and stay safe, particularly from the COVID. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Dr. Latif, last comment.
Thank you. Thank you. It's because of the participants that this program became successful for all of us. Thank you. So nice of you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Admin. Areen.
Shall we end, sir?
Okay, Uwais, thank you. Thank you, Uwais and Salim. Yes.
Thank you, thank you,
For
thank you.
extraordinary support, for their extraordinary support.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you all. Thank you.
Okay,
And we shall be ending the session.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Okay.